Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M,
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Pal?
Bro?
There you go. Oh, yeah. I felt like you were thinking about it, like thinking about your options. Well, not really. No.
Buddy,
Good old
friend, amigo.
When people call you buddy, is it a term of endearment, or is it like, I don't really know your name?
Well, yeah, I think a lot of times
both.
it depends on how it's used.
Hey, buddy. When you haven't seen somebody in a long time, hey, buddy, that they don't know your name.
Yeah. It's kind of like redneck, you know. You can
Yeah.
say redneck, and depending
Yeah,
on
I don't
the way it's used, it can be an insult or a term of endearment.
How about when in the media, those of you who are not in the media, you don't understand this, but you probably have similar situations with like a work badge. But when there's a member of the media that you've seen over the years, but you don't know their name, and your face does this, trying to look at their credential.
Yeah, I do that
on their ID, like
because I'm terrible on names anyway,
Yeah.
right? So yeah.
Well,
in fact, I'll even look at them. I'm not even subtle about it.
would you know the name of this show if it wasn't on
I don't know the name of the show now. You mean
this show?
TexAgs Live?
Oh yeah, you got it. Hey, we got a new offensive coordinator, Obi.
Yeah. Tell me
Kind
about
of. Well, Holman Wiggins. It's
Holman
official.
Wiggins.
Billy, he tweeted about it. He's been telling you about it for a couple weeks now. I think it's been a couple weeks. I don't know. It's been a weekish that it was trending in that direction. There was all these reports it could have gone, or not reports, speculation it could have gone and Billy maintained he thought I was going to go this direction, and it turned out to be the case.
Yeah, good. I know there are those that are going to recoil at that. Oh, well, what has he done? Well, can he do this? Well, you never know. Everybody who's great at anything had to get a chance, right?
Yeah.
So
everybody started somewhere,
right? So, I'm always open-minded. Hey, let's see what Holman does. Now, I know he's really good as a receivers coach, and he's really good as a recruiter, and he's been in those positions for a long time. So
he was the co-OC. He knows he is very responsible for a lot of the talent in that building.
Yeah.
Right. He is very relatable, likable, got good energy.
Very detail oriented.
Yeah. So like we won't know the answer to any of this stuff. We didn't know the answer of Elko until now. Like I think we have a pretty good feeling where this is going with Coach Elko. We won't know, but I think kind of like Bucky McMillan when he was hired, there wasn't that much data points, but you hear the guy talk, you think, you know what? I kind of like where this is going.
Well, I've never actually met Holman. I have when we go to practice, I very often, especially this last year, because the new receivers was something to look at, and I would be observing the receivers, and he would be coaching them, and I was always impressed with the, just how detail oriented he was, and I think if that's a good start at in being successful at anything.
Yeah.
So again, open-minded. Let's see how it works out. Hopefully, he may turn out to be the next great offensive coordinator out there. That unfortunately, that everybody's trying to hire as a head coach.
Well, let's hear Coach Elko talk about him. What stood out about Holman Wiggins?
I think he's extremely intelligent. I think he's very bright. I think he's got a great offensive mind. He obviously played a big role in what we've done around here on offense to this point. I think he's spent a lot of time under some really good offensive coordinators over his career, and I think just sees the game in a way that's very compatible with how we want our offense to run. And so I think it makes a lot of sense.
It does. Look, is there somebody out there that that wanted them to go out and hire some name, guys with great name, right? Okay. A couple of years ago, you wanted them to hire, what was it, Riley's brother, Lincoln Riley's brother?
Yeah, Gary Riley.
Instead, they hired Colin Klein. I think that worked out fine.
Yeah.
Now, Klein, you can say, well, Colin had already been an offensive coordinator. Yeah, but there was a time when he hadn't been calling the plays, right? And again, like I said before, everybody gets a chance. And like Mike Elko just said, Holman Wicked's been successful in everything he's done. So, who's to say he won't be wildly successful as a play caller?
Let's go a little deeper, shall we?
Let's do.
About what are his strengths?
If you would say what is the most improved area on your team, it's wide receiver talent. If you were to say what's the most improved area of your offense, it would be passing game. And so certainly he plays a role in all of that, right? He plays a role in the accumulation of talent. He plays a role in developing them and coaching them and the schematics that go behind it. I think all of that plays a role in why you're very comfortable elevating him, because you see every day the role that he's played in making this offense into what it's become. And obviously that's not to take anything away from Coach Klein and the job he did, but I think you see day in and day out the role that Coach Wiggins had in this, and I think that's what made the decision.
I'm going to trust Mike Elko's, his decision making. Yeah. He's been pretty good.
He's been very good, yeah.
I go back to when I was covering the Aggies, when I was working at the newspaper in Austin, and even though I'm not a fan of the guy, not R.C. Slocum, I'm a big fan of his, but R.C. decided during the season to change offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And he demoted Dino Babers and promoted Kevin Sumlin.
Yep.
And again, never been an offensive coordinator. The offense just, it was. And, he said, hey, let's bring in Reggie McNeil and play. Let's start throwing the ball deep and take it. And
it changed.
It changed.
Yeah.
And who's to say it won't be similar?
OB, I'm going to ask you a question. I don't want you to answer it.
Okay.
I want to hear Coach Elko answer it, and then we're going to chew on that question.
All right.
All right. What to you defines a successful season this year for Texas A&M?
Yeah.
Right. I want you to have your answer.
It's a great answer.
All right. You got a great answer?
No, he had a great answer.
He did have it. But I want to see if we're on the same page. Yeah. So here's Coach Elko on that.
We're in year 2. We're trying to establish a championship type of program. We haven't won a championship around here since 1939, so that's a lot of busts if that's the only marker. So I think we're obviously in this thing to compete for a national championship for sure. We believe we can. We believe we're one of the teams that's capable of going out there and winning it, but I don't know that you define seasons like that. Like, I don't know that I've ever checked off a box on a season like success, failure. I think you want to see growth. You want to see your program elevating in the direction you want it to go. And you want to get yourself into the opportunity to compete for things down the stretch. And so we've been able to do that. And obviously we've got a great opportunity Saturday.
Have you seen them grow since he's been here?
Yes.
Are they playing for opportunities for something bigger?
Yes.
Has this been a successful season?
Yeah, it has. Now let me ask you something.
Okay.
And
but
give
I
me an
ask
honest
you why.
answer.
Yeah.
I want an answer. Honest answer. Do you care about the perception or what other people outside? Do you be honest?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of A&M is going to think about what they have to say about A&M.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I care.
So here's the deal. In my opinion, it's a successful season. You can't say it's not successful if you get into the playoff.
Right.
That's successful. Now, there's different levels of success. I believe, and some are going to agree with me, and some are going to vehemently disagree. I believe for it to be a truly successful season, though, because of the way the season went,
mm-hmm.
that you have to beat Miami. And I'll tell you why. Because the outside narrative, being at A&M and being in College Station and watching them firsthand, like you just said, have they made growth? Yes, they made remarkable growth. They're in the playoff. But there's this narrative now that A&M is a beneficiary
of a weak schedule.
Of a weak schedule.
Who isn't? I understand. Like when you say,
you know what? Alabama can be that, and nobody will question it.
Right. Well, they did have a tough schedule. I think Bama had a.
But you know, you could throw out anybody.
So the way I look at it, OB, is it kind of depends on who's making that argument for me or against me.
I think it's going to be the national narrative that.
But
they're going to say, "See, this proved it."
Sure.
Because you couldn't beat a team that didn't even win the ACC on your home field. I'm not saying that's right.
Yeah, I understand that's going to be said. I think everything's going to be said. I think like that's just the world we live in today, that there's just opinions out there. There's so many analysts.
Which is why I asked the first, do you care?
I care depending on who says the message. I know that's not a great answer, but like if you're going to tell me who did A&M beat, I'll say they beat Notre Dame. They beat LSU when they were on top, or not on top. They had just lost to Vandy, but they were a very good team. I would say that they won in the SEC, and we know that not all teams are created equally based on record. I say, who did Ohio State beat? I would say, who did Indiana beat? I'd also say last year we were saying the same thing about Indiana that you're saying about A&M this year, and look at them now. So the national narrative is out there, and I do a talk show, so I'm going to defend it. Is there a point to what they're saying? I guess if you just look at it from a records perspective, sure. But to me, success, you can take it in parts. Mm-hmm. Do they exceed all preseason expectations that I had?
I'm sure they did.
1,000%. I thought they're an 8-4, 9-3 team.
8-4 until you show us different.
Right? And they are 11-1. Now, you can say, but yeah, but who did they really beat? There was years they couldn't beat those teams. They beat them all except Texas this year. Okay? Now, do my expectations change as the season goes on? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. The year they went 8-4, in 2021, I have to say what year. Sorry. In 2021, when they went 8-4, I thought they were going to be a 9 or 10 win team. They lost the 2 games. I was like, they may be a 7-win team or a 6-win team. They go on this win streak, including beating Bama, Missouri, Alabama, Auburn, and I'm like, they're going to make the freaking playoffs, or they're going to go to the SEC championship game. And then they ended up being 8-4. So yeah, my opinion of a season does change based on the information that we have. But if I'm able to take a step away and know how I felt a year ago, a year before that, this is an uber successful season and hopefully a building block for what's to come.
I would say it's a successful season. I would not say it's an uber successful season. I think you actually have to have some playoff success to throw the uber in there. But I do believe that that you need to win that game. Yeah. Just to keep your critics, if you care about the critics, right? Because let's be honest. It wasn't that long ago when we were complaining that A&M was ranked 3rd. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that long ago that we were saying, hey, they should be at least 2nd, and maybe they'll be number 1. I was saying they're as good as any team in the country. And now, are we to the point now from going, a few weeks ago saying this is the team is as good as any in the country, saying it's a success. If we lose to Miami, it's still a successful season.
So if Texas Tech loses to whoever they play, mm-hmm. Okay, they're supposed to play Oregon, right? Yeah. So if they lose to Oregon, is it a successful season for Tech?
Yeah.
Who did they beat?
They won a conference championship.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
But here's the deal. Do you want to be compared to Ohio State and Alabama's and LSU's, good LSU teams and championship caliber teams, or do you want to be compared to Texas
But
Tech?
I feel like even when you make the comparison to those programs, you get shut down. But I would say, who has Ohio State beat?
And that's why I said earlier, as I used Alabama as an example, because they've earned the right not to be questioned. Yeah. Because they've done it over years and they've won the big games. Look, again, yes, it's a successful season. It has to, being one of 12 teams in the playoff, there's 136. So that means there's 124 that aren't involved in the playoff. Yeah. So yes, it's a successful season.
But how successful do we look at it? But if they lose 2 straight to end the season, it's going to not taste the same, right? It's going to be like microwave chicken. You ever have microwave chicken? It's not as good.
No.
Right? But there's certain foods you can microwave that are fine. But chicken's not one of them.
No.
Steak, not one of them. Why are we doing this? I'll move on. Anyway, so yeah, of course it's going to feel way worse. But this season's going to end one way, either a 4-game win streak or a loss to end your year.
Right. I'm just saying you need to win the one game at home for sure. Yeah. And, if you lose, and hopefully you won't, hopefully it's the 4-game win streak, but I think if you lose, say, to Ohio State.
Successful season.
I don't think you're going to be, again, if you care about the national narrative, I don't think the national narrative is going to be anything that's going to disparage what your season was or dismiss it or question it. But I think if you lose to Miami.
Yeah, you're going to hear it.
Yeah. Now, look.
Well, what do you think they'll think across
as an old guy, you get to a point in your life where you don't care what people say.
Yeah.
People talk about my hair. I look like Uncle Rico. And I go, yeah, I did.
It's a good looking.
I did.
Good looking guy.
Man, you're fat. Yeah, I am.
People that tell you you're fat.
People that are related to me. But anyway, so
I didn't think Buck would do that.
Yeah, Buck's probably thinking, man, if he died, I could live for another year just eating on his carcass.
Oh, God.
So anyway, I think it's a successful year, but there's this level of success. And if you care what the national narrative is, then you would be thinking you got to win.
Yeah. There's a gentleman, apparently his name is, he uses 2 names in 2 cities and don't read, says, can't just compare who you beat. You need to also ask those other schools who they lost to. Those matter too.
I've said that all along, right? How many times have I said, yeah, Florida didn't have a great year, but they beat Texas or, look at Auburn. I mean, they didn't win these games, but to think that they're an easy win, did Alabama have an easy time with them?
Let me ask you a question.
Missouri,
Does A&M, who played Missouri, not A&M who played LSU, A&M who played Missouri, beat Miami this weekend? That A&M team.
I believe they do.
Yeah.
I believe they do.
Does the A&M team that beat Missouri have a chance to beat Ohio State at AT&T Stadium?
Chance, yes.
The A&M team that beat LSU, can they beat Ohio State?
Yeah. I think.
So what we're saying, there's a chance for these 2 games.
Yeah, but
if there are 2 games.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like Lloyd Christmas saying it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying there's a chance. Everybody says, no, there's no chance. No,
right.
I think there's a chance for A&M to win the national championship and a legitimate chance. But the one thing that, and I know you said this a lot during the season, is they haven't played when are they going to play the complete game? They haven't played the complete game.
Yep.
Well, now you're after a full season, and now you're in a postseason, and you still are you going to? Well, if they do, even the LSU game, which I think would say that's probably 3 quarters they've ever best, the best 3 quarters they played all year, but they still had that second quarter. If they could play a full game like they played against LSU, then yeah, they can beat anybody.
Yeah. Now we can tell the people who sponsors the show. This is TexAgs Live, presented by
David Garner Schulers.
We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason and Jackson and the boys.
We are currently in an hour that we call the Go Hour.
The Go Hour, brought to you by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Thank you very much.
We are hanging out at the
Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
It's so cool to be here.
Back here.
I love the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
Like the chairs.
Yeah, it's very comfy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be part of the conversation this morning, you can do it a couple different ways. You can text us at 979-693-1150, or you can what?
You can call us at the same number on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
Yeah, absolutely. 979-693-1150. Let's go around the room left to right. Say hi to the people. Cade Bickham behind the glass. What up, Cade?
What up? Yeah.
What up?
What up, brah?
Well, I don't know. I was just listening to you guys' conversation about the narrative. I totally agree that this weekend is huge to change the narrative. I feel like the team has done a good job of doing that for the most part this season. That winning on the road at Notre Dame, I think, was a huge part of changing the narrative about Texas A&M as a program. I think the Texas loss kind of kind of hurt a little bit in that regard, but this weekend, a win this weekend would be big just for the program and for the narratives around Texas A&M football going forward.
You're as good as your last game. And right now, because it's been so long, because it has been longer than a week, all we can think about is the way A&M looked in the second half against Texas. Right? But there is a bigger body of work that would say they are definitely better than what we saw in the second half against Texas.
Well, there is, but you know what? Someone would say it goes back even further. They're going to say, now we saw this spectacular second half comeback.
There was a terrible first half.
But this terrible. So the thing was, you were down 30-3 to South Carolina, even though South Carolina, not a good team, but a dangerous team, as other teams.
Almost beat Bama.
Almost beat Bama. Almost beat Missouri. Had some other really good games, but you're saying, well, yeah, you needed the greatest comeback in school history to beat South Carolina at home. That's what the narrative is going to be.
Yep.
So you need to go out and beat Miami for a lot of reasons. Now, the changing narrative or preventing that narrative from occurring is obviously secondary.
Yep.
The reason you want to beat Miami is because you want to win a national championship, and it's going to take 4 steps, and that's the first one.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski. Popo, what up?
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good morning.
Ornery. Being ornery this morning.
I'm ready for the playoff game. I'm excited. We're hosting. I'm so excited. Playoff
Has it
time.
been a successful season in your opinion so far?
Yes. But we have to beat Miami.
Okay.
I agree. We have to beat Miami. Yes. And on that note, Texas A&M football's Casey Concepcion, Cassius Howell, and Amarje Reed Adams earned Associated Press All-America honors, the organization announced on Monday. Concepcion and Howell were named first-team selections, and Reed Adams received second-team recognition.
To me, first team, second team, third team, I don't even know if they have a third team on the AP, but it doesn't matter. If you make the team, I just said there's 136 teams.
Yeah.
And now you say, 100 players when you count walk-ons and things like that. So you're one of those, you're on one of the teams, you're All-American.
Let's do this. Let's hit a break and come back. Randy wants to talk about their credibility, A&M's credibility on the other side. So we'll talk to Randy here on TexAgs Live. All right, OB. Let's just tell the people what happens when brothers who are pitmasters make a delightful afternoon delight, if you will.
Yeah, well, you're talking about 1775 barbecue. If you're talking about old Bradley and Brandon, then you make some of the best barbecue that's ever been made on this earth.
Yep.
Because it's Texas barbecue, and they do it as good as anybody and better than most. Now, not every pair of brothers can do this, right? But you said pitmasters. The key there is masters. Yep. They have mastered the art of Texas barbecue. They can make that succulent brisket like you've never had before. It's amazing. But I'm telling you, try that jalapeno cheese sausage and thank me later. I love the pork ribs. Some of the best I've ever had. I even like the turkey. The turkey is excellent. And of course, there's always, I don't think they make the queso mac and cheese. I think their wives do, but that queso mac and cheese is
it's also a delight.
Yeah, I could see taking some of that brisket and chopping it up and then mix it in with that
use your
queso
hands
mac
and mix
cheese.
it, just throw it up in.
Yeah, that'd be astounding.
Check out the website, 1775txbbq.com, or you can call them up, 979-492-6241. It is 1775.
And it's good.
Hey guys, David Nuño here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites, while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com. Obi was asking me a question as I re-entered the studio.
Because we're talking about the level of success of this season. And I'm saying, what if they don't win?
Yeah.
Have you? And you're probably the wrong guy to ask because you're so suave and debonair.
Billy wouldn't say that.
But Billy doesn't say anything nice about anybody. But had you ever gone on a date back in, before Elizabeth? And I don't even know if there was a before Elizabeth because I know y'all been dating since high school. But whatever.
Let's just
Where it's just a good date. I mean, the meal was good. Maybe you saw a good movie, had good conversation. Everything seemed to be great date. And then, she gives you a nice handshake at the door. There's no kiss at the end of the date. And to me, that's kind of like what you'd be looking at this season. It's been a great season. It's been successful.
They called me the closer.
The closer.
I'm kidding.
Maybe she closed the door.
She closed the door on me, yeah.
So, see where I'm getting at there?
Yeah. Like everything is going great. And then
for some reason, at the end, it just...
Yeah.
You don't get the payoff.
You're feeling very blue in that situation. Yeah, it's not good.
So that's to me is what getting to the playoff but not winning a game would be like.
Yeah. Let's hear what Randy
said. What Randy said. Maybe Randy's been there
on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Randy, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. You want to order me something?
What's up? What's up, Dave?
Oh, Randy in Hearn. What up, Randy?
Yeah. What's up? Hey, A&M's in a no-win situation. Either way, if they win Miami, then the critics will say, "Oh, Miami was flawed. They shouldn't have been in there." So just handle your business. Like I always say, we are the Aggies. The Aggies are we. Just just go out there and do your thing, and you don't have to worry about what people say. Just handle your business.
There you go, Randy. Yeah, I mean, look, there's going to be critics no matter what you do, and I'm sure other programs. Miami's probably got a talk show going on right now. Danny Enriquez is probably talking about people don't think we're believers, and if we beat A&M, they're going to say, well, you haven't beat anybody yet because A&M was a flawed contender. Like, there's stuff all around.
Seems like I've seen more national people with podcasts and things like that that are picking Miami.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, and I think partially. Thank you, Randy, for the call, buddy. Have a good one.
No problem. You too.
I think part of the reason is because of the last opinion of A&M is so poor. Like, people were talking so gloriously about A&M after the LSU game. And that was a while ago. I recognize that. But there were people saying this team could win it all.
Yeah.
They're not saying that anymore.
Yeah, I think it goes back even further than the Texas game. I think it goes back to the fact that you were down 30-3 to South Carolina. And yes, it was a historic comeback, and it was amazing, and it shows what they're capable of. But then they keep coming back and say, yeah, but you were down 30-3 to South Carolina.
Right.
And then Sanford doesn't count, but then you follow it up with, that second half against Texas, and really the first half too, because there were times you had the opportunity to score more points and you didn't. So do you believe in the importance of momentum going into the playoffs? You hear some teams say, want to be going into the playoffs.
Playing their best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe that. Now,
in the two teams in this game, who's playing with momentum? Who is it?
Miami.
Yeah.
But I also do know that the national champion last year wasn't playing with momentum.
You're right. Absolutely.
Either. I'm not saying that A&M is going to go on that kind of run because I think they are screwed in the 7th seed. Doesn't mean they can't do it. I'm not saying that at all. But I think in the 7th, and if you don't take care of Miami, it does not matter, right? So you best take care of business and move on. But I just think the margin for error is 0 in the 7th seed.
Well, see, all right, first of all, I don't believe they should be in the 7th seed. I think they should be probably 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to compare it to Texas Tech, I could win that argument.
Yeah.
But you are in the 7th seed, and you're still higher seed, and you got to beat good teams. So, again, you can't... To me, you can't even use that argument as far as changing the narrative. Because then the narrative would be, see, you shouldn't even been... You should
just win the freaking game.
Yeah.
Win the freaking game. Let's try to get a text or two before we hit a break because I know we got Charean coming up. McKinley Pulaski at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center.
Yes, we just got a text in for OB.
Uh-oh.
It says, if you're drafting a Heisman winning quarterback to build a new college team around, in your opinion, who would you choose? Johnny Manziel, Joe Burrow, Fernando Mendoza, Cam Newton, or other? Lynn in Fayetteville.
Hey, I got a question for Lynn. Why wasn't I asked the question? Why is it only OB? Like, we're both on the show.
Probably because I'm a voter, but.
Maybe that's
all right. Are we talking about a pro team or a college team?
Let's call it college.
College.
Thanks, Lynn.
You know what? Of those, I would take Cam Newton. And I'll tell you why. Because he did win a national championship. And of all those guys you mentioned, I think they had more talent around them than Cam Newton did. And yet they still went like Johnny had Mike Evans and Ryan Swope and 3 offensive linemen that were first-round draft choices. Joe Burrow, look at the receivers he had.
What if I added VY to that list? I still think I'd take Cam.
Actually, that's a tough one because I think, and I know Lucci and I have had this discussion before, and he disagrees. I think VY is the best college quarterback ever. But I even think he had more talent around him than Cam Newton had.
I agree with you.
Now, did he beat a better team in the national championship
Absolutely.
game than Cam Newton did? Yes. Because nobody was ever supposed to beat that USC team, right? Yeah. So, if you add VY, I might say, I'm not opposed to giving credit where credit is due just because he went to Texas. But in the ones that she mentioned, I would say Cam Newton.
Thanks, Lynn. Hey, why don't you read Chase and Houston's and we'll hit a break.
Yes, I have it pulled up right here. Chase in Houston said, winning Saturday is making a statement nationwide that A&M has turned the corner as a program. This program needs the wins like Notre Dame, Miami, and potentially Ohio State for people to realize that this is a new Texas A&M and that it gets taken seriously from coast to coast.
Let me ask you something.
I'll answer something.
If they win this game, Miami, is that enough? Is that sufficient?
If A&M beats Miami.
If A&M beats Miami, is that sufficient to say the quote, and we keep hearing about the sleeping giant, we've heard about it for decades. Does that wake up the giant?
No.
The giant's not awake yet?
You got to do it again.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, no, I believe the giant is starting to wake up. Like, he's starting to look around like, okay, but like, he might get sleepy again. So it's what you do in Act 2 and 3 for that sleeping giant to wake up, in my opinion. But I feel like we're trending in that direction.
Because if they win the national championship, my first line is the giant is awake.
Yeah. If they beat Miami, I'm not ready to say the Giants awake.
He's not awake yet.
They win a couple of games. I'm gonna be much closer, but I still think there's got to be an Act 2.
Okay,
that's
fair.
I might be wrong, but that's where I am right now.
Okay, so I won't use that lead if they win Saturday.
No, you can do it. Absolutely.
No, I won't because Giants not awake yet.
Well, it depends on
Nuño said so.
No, you can have an opinion too. We'll ask Charean that on the other side.
Okay, let's do that.
I'm not wearing duck camp. You're not wearing duck camp. And Billy really he's like, man, you and Olin just wear all this duck camp. Yeah, because we look good in it, bro.
And I like it.
And I love it.
I had my hoodie on yesterday. He said, you know what? You've ruined that for me. I can't wear it now. I'm like, well, why not? Am I so foul? And I say foul because duck camp, duck, foul. Am I so foul that, you can't be seen in the same clothes? Of course you can. It's duck camp. Everybody wants to be seen in duck camp.
Yeah, duck camp is built for the outdoors, designed for everything else. You can wear it anywhere, inside, outside. You can wear it to a ball game, a football game. You can wear it to go a hunt. You can go to church. You can wear it anywhere. It is duck camp. Duckcamp.com, built for the outdoors and designed for everything else. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in.
Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst.
Little late from the break. It's TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, talk to our dear friend Charean Williams, Pro Football Talk, the Aggie Hall of Famer, the Hall of Famer. Hey, Charean, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing today?
What a week, right, Obi?
Yeah. It's been a good week.
Well, it's going to be a great week, hopefully.
With volleyball.
Yeah.
Of course, I watched the Cowboys do what the Cowboys do,
Yeah.
So, I've had some ups and downs.
Well, for those who don't know, my husband coached volleyball at A&M. He was assistant volleyball coach at A&M in the 80s, and that's how we met. And so my old roommate was Sherry Steensma, who is the Southwest Conference all-time kills leader and will always be. Great stat to have. And still one of my really good friends. So Yeah, it was so fun to see volleyball do what they did, having covered them as long as I did, and the struggles that they had for as long as they had, to see what that program has done and where they've come. I was celebrating. It was a fantastic day. I think, having followed volleyball as much as I have, that it was one of the biggest upsets in volleyball history. I think you can clearly say that it was that 33-0 team that hadn't lost a set since Penn State. And I watched that Penn State match. I thought they were going to lose Nebraska. They lost the first two and then came back and won the last three. So I watched that match. I knew how good they were, and so to see A&M do this, it's special for me to see what they've done.
Yeah, I think special all of us. We're very much celebrating and hope they're not finished. Go beat Pitt and then go win it all.
Win it all. Hey, Charean, from a football perspective, what to you constitutes a successful season? Are they already there? Do they need to have more success here in the postseason? What to you constitutes a successful season?
Oh, I think it's already there. And they've taken that step. They know what it's like to get in the playoffs. And, we all want to beat Miami and think we will beat Miami, and then we'll see what happens from there. But no matter what happens, it's a successful season. And I know people outside the program, non-Aggies, have ripped the schedule. The schedule is what the schedule is. We ripped Texas' schedule last year. It is what it is, okay? Neither team had anything to do with their schedule. But I'll say this. When the schedule came out, I said there's no possible way they lose less than 4 games. I mean, with the way games that they had, at Notre Dame, at Texas, at Missouri, at LSU, how are you going to win those games? I didn't see a way that they were going to win those games, and it meant going undefeated at home, which meant beating South Carolina, who was a top 10 team to start, and it meant beating Florida. And I saw 4 losses on that schedule when we started the season, and for them to do what they did, to go to the last week and only lose 1 game in the regular season, it's a made season no matter what happens from here on out. It's a successful season. They've taken a step. They now know what it's like to get in the playoffs. They're going to have a taste of it, and hopefully they have more than one taste. Hopefully they get to come to the Cotton Bowl, and we're all here at the Cotton Bowl. I'm looking at AT&T Stadium right now on my way back to Beaumont, and hopefully they get to come and do it again in AT&T Stadium and have a chance for an upset there. But no matter what happens, it's been a very successful season.
I would agree with that. In fact, I did. I said it is successful. You can't be one of 12 teams out of 136 to get into the playoff and say it's not successful. I just feel like you have to take a next step for it to be. I think there's just this next level of success that A&M. I'm afraid if you lose, you're in that place. Are you going to be Indiana? And it's a launching pad. Or do you remember a few years ago when
TCU? Or?
I was going to say Michigan State got into the playoff and got just destroyed by Alabama and hadn't been good since. Not saying either is going to happen, but I just think if you can beat Miami, then that you definitely affirm that you're there because you're really deserving and not because somebody in Austin or Baton Rouge or anywhere else across the country can say, well, they got fortunate because they had a favorable schedule. Just my take on it.
Yeah. And I somewhat agree with that. That you do want to take that next step and show that you are a for real team, so to speak. That you're going to be here for years, like Elko says. I will say that everything he says has proved out right. I mean, you guys stop worrying. Forget battered Aggie syndrome, like all those types of things. And this is a different team. We weren't that team. Everything that he said has come true. And he said we're here to stay, and I believe they're here to stay. And it's a different era than it used to be. If you have money, you should be able to win every single year. That's the bottom line in the NIL era. If you have, and no one has more money than A&M. We all know that. If you have money, you should be able to sustain success forever and be in it forever. You should be the Alabama that once was back in the day when it was money under the table. I started to say when it was non-NIL, but it was money under the table, illegal NIL. And so you should be able to sustain that success. And I think A&M will, regardless of what happens in this Miami game. But yes, you're at home. I don't know what the line is. I assume that A&M's favored in this game because they are at home. It's a hard place to play. And I hope we can make it an even harder place to play on Saturday than it's ever been. And that's what Coach Elko called for. And hopefully we can do that, be even louder. I plan on being hoarse come Sunday morning and not being able to talk, and that's okay if that happens. So, you want to take that next step, and I hope they do, and I hope they prove that they are for real and they're going to be here for a long time.
Charean, let's get into some Aggies in the NFL.
Well, I have to say, I didn't do extensive research, but I'm not sure it was needed this week, and I don't have the exact stats before me. But if you watched last night's game, Devon Achane is doing things that he hasn't done before and has proved that he is one of the best backs in the NFL. He had over 100 yards from scrimmage. I do know that. Had an outstanding game, even though the Dolphins lost and were eliminated from playoff contention. And if you watched it, Troy Aikman got into the A-Chain thing and said he likes A-Chain better, which I think a lot of us do too. It has a better ring to it. That's what we called him at A&M, but he says it's A-Chain. So anyway, that was kind of funny. Number 2, Myles Garrett. I mean, a sack and a half. He's a sack away from tying the record and a sack and a half away from breaking the record. He has a hip injury. He is going to play through that. Hopefully it doesn't affect him too much. He's got 3 games to set the all-time NFL record for sacks in a single season. So let's wish him well in getting his sack and a half that he needs in the last 3 games. I think we all expect him to do that regardless of an injury, but I wouldn't expect him to probably practice, if at all, maybe a little limited practice this week. And then number 1, Mike Evans returned, even though the Buccaneers took a horrible loss, played outstanding in his return. One of his best game in almost a year, well over 100 yards, and looked like Mike Evans again, and that was really nice to see.
Charean, great stuff. Hope to see you this weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
See ya. Charean Williams here from Pro Football Talk. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. It's TexAgs Live. All right, guys, let's talk about some new partners, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. They are an mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. I met with Sheldon and Danny over the last week, and they're awesome people. They really know what they're doing. They're proud to serve Bryan College Station with awesome services like IV hydration, Botox, and even some weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. And on a busy weekend, I know some of you guys might be partying a little bit too much. If that's the case, an IV can be one of the easiest ways to ensure you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals that make you feel better. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader range of clientele here in the Bryan College Station and Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about it, just call them up or text them. 979-217-1561. Again, it's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. It's our friends at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Great song.
It is. I
Wagon
like,
Wheel?
Darius Rucker.
Yeah, my good friend.
You know, it's a cover.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was some medicine show. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, it's a cover.
Yeah, it's a great song.
The Old Crow Medicine Show.
That's the name of the band?
Was the name of I believe, the first band.
Okay. Old Crow Medicine Show.
But that's a better version.
Yeah.
Darius Rucker.
My dear friend Darius Rucker, also a big Batman fan. Huge.
Well, if you guys were together, who's Batman, who's Robin?
I'm Batman. Come on, bro. Let's be honest.
Hey, he's Darius Rucker, man.
Yeah, he's Robin. He's Alfred. Okay?
I'm Alfred.
He roots for South Carolina. Okay? Here's one from John in Cyprus. I think you'll appreciate this. Like everything in life, you have to ask, if you have to ask for it or talk about it yourself to feel like you belong or are taken serious, then you're not there. It's all done on the field, not with your money, mouth, or minutia. So basically, go prove it. Doesn't matter what these fools say.
Well, that's why I asked you at the beginning of that. I said, do you care what the narrative?
I do, but I think I care more because of what I do.
See, I look at our TexAgs forums.
They care.
And the people, how they react to what other people are saying.
But I'm very good about walking away from that world too. Like, so I can, some of those questions I have, and some of them I can look at the other way. We got to drop it there, OB. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Be there.
All right. When we come back here on TexAgs Live, a brand new guest. You've never heard of him. His name is Josh Pate. It's next on TexAgs.
We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for our weekly conversation with Josh Pate, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For the most festive gear of the year, that's back at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Don't miss the limited edition Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection, only at Academy. Exclusive 2025 gear and gifts for all of your holiday parties, fun family photos, and Christmas morning traditions. You can check out the entire collection from matching PJs and holiday print fishing shirts and dresses to exclusive new mossy oak, snowdrift camo styles, and much, much more. Shop in-store or at academy.com. And if you need it fast, get same-day delivery powered by DoorDash. Let your holiday fun begin with the Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection, only at Academy. And with that, we go to the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our buddy, Josh Pate. What's up, man?
I get to see you this weekend.
Yeah,
this
buddy.
is big. We normally don't speak on these terms. Normally it's a long way away, but I know, God willing, in 5 days, I will embrace you at a playoff game in Kyle Field, no less. Just imagine that whole sentence a decade ago. So yeah, man, big week.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to remember. I know you came for the Auburn game a few years ago, Missouri last year. This will be what, your third or fourth time in the last few years?
I think it's the third time last 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what is the agenda? You're going to go to Norman first, and then you hightail it in the morning to Kyle Field?
Listen to this schedule. So Thursday morning, I'm doing Get Up in person, so in New York. So we do that. We immediately fly back to Nashville, lift right quick. Then right out to Norman. I'm going to do a live show with like Gabe Eichert and Teddy Lehman and those guys that evening. Then we do Bama OU Friday night. Immediately when that one ends, we hop down to College Station and hopefully get in before like 2 a.m. And then I'll be there when they open the gates.
Okay. I'll shoot you a text afterwards to see what your pregame activities are. So let's talk about this, man. Like the 11 a.m. game, I was defending it the other day. In fact, yesterday on No Layups, I was defending it because I was like, look, it is the primetime spot because of the NFL. But at the same time, of course I want it at night. What is your take on, especially at a place like Kyle Field where the atmosphere is always going to be ramped up 1,000%?
Yeah, I just wish college football didn't have to be terrified of the NFL. But I understand totally. If you're running a major media corporation, you're paying the dollars you're paying to acquire the broadcast rights, unless the NFL is just going to voluntarily cede the primetime time slot to you, which they're not. A whole separate discussion as to whether they should, but they're not. Then, yeah, you got to put your highest priority games unopposed. So, like, what I thought when they released the bracket is Bama, Oklahoma is a huge game too. Norman at night, that's going to be a great scene. I kind of wanted to see the A&M game be the Friday night game, to be that standalone night window, because that would have been, it'll be a spectacle either way, but that would have really been incredible to see that scene at night.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I think about this game, I was listening to your breakdown of it, and I was somewhat surprised of how good Miami is at stopping mobile quarterbacks. I think you put a stat of, 4 or 5 QBs, 74 total yards. And that is, to me, not concerning, but something to look out for, because if they force Marcel to be a pocket passer, but I don't know much about those offensive lines and how they compare to what A&M's offensive line is.
Yeah, that's why you're trying to draw the best comparison. You're going to find that with a lot of teams in the playoff is they're going to have these stat profiles. And then since we're not talking about the NFL, we are talking about college football. The follow-up question is, well, okay, who did they compile those numbers against? And that's why more so than just raw total yards per game, rush yards per game and all that stuff, I thought about, okay, what specific issues could A&M pose? Well, Marcel Reed mobility is a unique issue, a somewhat unique issue, especially with the variety of weaponry they have, which is a pretty sizable edge to A&M in this game. But aside from that, I'm thinking, okay, well, how has Miami dealt with something similar this year? So who did we – I can't even remember all of them. DJ Lagway was one. Byron Brown was one. Tommy Castellanos. They faced 2 more mobile QBs. Jennings at SMU, and there was one more in there somewhere. But anyway, the stat was if you take all 5 of those dudes combined, their rush yardage against Miami, it was 74 yards. So they just totally bottled up that threat, period. And then, you're also talking about, in general, one of the best standard run defenses in the country. That's why I told you last week, I'll tell you again this week, I think the entire – maybe not the key to the game, but the big hinge point to becoming the key to the game is just standard run defense. Because if you were to promise me a stat category here, outside of turnovers, I would love to know Texas A&M yards per carry. Because if it's 4.1 or something like that, I feel really good. If it's 2.7, then that just means we had a lot of third obvious passing down. I got to watch Marcel Reed make it happen. And I am talking about a guy that had multiple INTs in 3 of his final 5 regular season games. So there may be no carryover into the playoffs. With Carson Beck, I kind of feel the opposite of Marcel. Like, people were sky high on Marcel Reed, and then their opinion kind of tailed off as his play kind of tailed off late in the year. Well, with Carson Beck, I think people were sky high on him, and then it felt like his production dipped. But if you watched Carson Beck down the stretch, he was final 3 games, I think 80% completion guy, 10 touchdowns, 1 INT. 2 of those games were cold weather games too. So we fortunately don't have to worry about that Saturday. So I don't know. With all these teams in the playoff, David, I'm always interested in this 2 or 3 week time off period, depending on if you played on Conference Championship Saturday. When you come out of the gate in the first quarter of your playoff game, is your trajectory totally linear to how you ended the season? Or are you like Ohio State last year, where you don't even look like the same team? And you're saying, wow, it turns out the regular season gave us almost no context clues as to what was about to come out of the gate in the playoff.
I know that you're struggling with picking this game because, I mean, it's really going to hinge on those talking points that you just had. By the way, Kyron Drones was the other quarterback that you had mentioned. But I look at this wondering to myself, how much better is A&M? Look, both teams are going to be a little bit healthier with the time off, no doubt. But from an A&M perspective, that means Mario Craver, not as banged up. Ashton Bethel-Roman, not as banged up. And maybe Le'Veon Moss. And I said this 2 years in a row, and it might be my maroon goggles, but I feel like Le'Veon Moss was the difference in both Texas games. If Le'Veon's there 2 years ago, I think they score on a couple of those 4th and 1s. You can't play the if game, Josh. I know that, and I think, I don't think Ruben had his best game against Texas, and I think he's had really great games for A&M, but I think Le'Veon Moss could be the difference if he's healthy and able to give you a Le'Veon Moss-esque kind of game.
Yep. So when you're talking about health at the tailback position and you're talking about the variety of weaponry, also your weaponry getting healthy, to me, that's what pushed me a little bit over the edge for A&M, because I was very much on the fence as to who to pick. I'm like 52-48 kind of deal, not final score, but percentage of picking who to win. The reason I went A&M is home field, so those dynamics, the external dynamics, but also I do think that I'm getting the healthiest tailback situation they've had in quite a while. I also love that those skill guys like Craver, even some of them who have been on the field maybe the past month of the season, you never know at what percentage they're playing versus what percentage they will be improved to in this kind of game. Because sometimes those guys come into a postseason situation and they look like they're shot out of a cannon, well, just because time off really helped them. So you've got to sustain drives against Miami. Miami's defense is very good at not giving up cap buster plays, not giving up huge explosive plays. Doesn't mean you can't score on them. It means you've got to sometimes put together a 9-play drive to score on them instead of just counting on out of nowhere. And to do that, you've got to be able to rely on more than one thing. That actually, ironically, on the Miami side is the other thing I'm concerned about with them a little bit. Is Miami's offense can function at a pretty high level, but Malachi Toney has to be humming. Either that or their ground game has to be churning a little bit better than it normally is. I think they're like in the 70s or something like that, rush yards per game. They lean on Malachi Toney pretty heavily. He's a really, really good player. We were looking at the breakdown the other night, though. I think I said it on the show. A&M had held half a dozen wide receiver ones to 40 yards or less in games. So they've been good at taking away your main guy and forcing you to show me you've got something behind him. And if A&M's able to force Miami into that situation, I don't know what the magic number would be in this game, but I feel comfortable enough that they can get to it that I picked them to win it.
Josh, I don't know if this is a key to the game, but the recipe to me, it's something we've seen from A&M in most games this year, if not all the games except Texas, is it may be a jab away from being a real tight game, right? We saw it against Auburn. We saw it against many teams, right? But the fourth quarter has been the quarter where A&M has been able to really assert their will. They were not able to do that at Texas. They had the 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter. There's no doubt. But I feel like this game is going to play that's going to be the route A&M is going to have to take, is can they weather the storm? Can they have the lead entering the fourth quarter? And then does the dam break? Does Le'Veon, Ruben, Does the defense force something? To me, it's all about what happens in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I agree with you. So what I always track there, it's I don't know, it's not always correlated to outcome. No different than time of possession is not always correlated to outcome. But if you're doing that, if you're attempting to lean on a team and then break them in the fourth quarter, buddy, it's tough to do against personnel like Miami has. But one of the things I really pay attention to is how many plays have you run in the game so far? I'm always looking at that. And that's really where some 3-and-outs early are important, not on the front end of the game, on the back end of the game. Because if they're on the field for play number 85 versus play number 55, it's a huge difference. It's like a whole quarter. And sometimes a half of football, one versus the other. So that to me, if that's your game script, let me put it that way. If that's your game script, I always pay attention to those first half numbers. Because like if you get to the half, and you've run 29 plays, 33 plays, I'm just not counting on that being in the cards for you. You could still beat them in the second half, but it's just going to be out executing. It's not going to be imposing your will. It's not going to be watching them break and all of a sudden, piles are just pushing forward. That's unlikely to be what wins you a game like that.
Talking to Josh Pate here on TexAgs Live. What did you make of the Heisman weekend? Fernando winning it, Diego's kind of antics afterwards, and then the apology.
I didn't make anything of the apology. He shouldn't have apologized because he just kind of expressed how he felt. Now, you could have a problem with how he felt, but if you tell me how you feel and I can't stand what you said, that just means I can't stand what you said. What I hate even worse is when you try and astroturf me with an apology. So I thought the wrong guy won the award, but not egregiously. I didn't think there was a runaway favorite or anything like that. I just didn't think it was a slam dunk for Mendoza. The gap, the margin of victory surprised me a little bit, but then I thought about it more, and I think that people just got distracted and had their attention pulled away from the Heisman this year. In general, I'm talking about voters. I don't think people really locked in until the final week of the season, maybe, and that's a week where Diego Pavia didn't play. I think that, I can't prove this, but I think that the way the coaching search thing happened during the season this year drew everyone's secondary attention away from Heisman. Your primary focus is always going to be on the games, and then you got to choose what to do with your secondary focus. Normally, that can be on the Heisman. It was not this year. It was on Penn State, and it was on LSU and Lane Kiffin, and it was on Florida. And, people who are paying attention to that also have a Heisman vote. So I just feel like we got to the 11th hour, and since there was no breakaway star on a brand name team, like a Johnny Manziel, like a Cam Newton, like a Jameis Winston, since that didn't capture the nation's imagination, they got to the very end and they just said, oh man, we got to vote for this thing. Fernando Mendoza just won the Big Ten championship. He's my guy. And the reason I think that, David, is because we went into conference championship Saturday. Diego Pavia was the slight favorite to win the Heisman that morning. And then Fernando Mendoza wins the Big Ten title game 13-10. And he's a minus 3,000 favorite by the time the dust settles. And I'm looking at it saying, I got no problem if he wins the award. I may disagree. I may have voted for Pavia, but that result tilted the scales that violently. That just means people checked in at the last minute, and the last thing they saw was what caught their eye, and they voted.
Josh, I know the end result is really what matters with these coaching searches, and it looks like Penn State got it right. But I'm kind of baffled by the way some of these coaching searches have gone, from Arkansas to Florida to not LSU as much, to obviously what's happening with Michigan right now. What is your take on? Is it maybe the calendar? Is it all these searches just seem out of whack?
Yeah, I think each one that you just mentioned kind of has a life of its own. The Michigan one's totally different. And I'll tell you, initially, I got this wrong because initially I had heard some stuff about Sharon. A lot of people had heard some stuff about him. And I had been told middle of the season, expect that job to come open. So then we got to the end of the season. It still hadn't come open. And I thought, hey, man, maybe it's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden the news broke. And so, I'm still thinking to myself, because I was told to expect it to come open and it just came open, this must have been the timeline all along. Their strategy must have just been, let's get through signing day. But it turns out that was not the case. There was additional information that got dropped in their lap that warranted movement. Otherwise, they may have not fired him this past cycle. So they fire him, and then they've got an opening that's a little bit later in the cycle, and it's ongoing right now. And there were some people immediately who circled Kalen DeBoer, and with good reason. He's a good coach, and they were going to target him, and they are targeting him. I don't think Kalen's going to Michigan. Feel pretty good about that. So then you start looking down the list, David, and it's one of those where everybody's list looks the same. Everybody's list has the same few names on it. And I'm not saying it's inaccurate reporting. What I'm saying is I don't think the search there is being handled like it was, let's just say, at LSU or at Penn State. At Penn State, there was just an AD that ran point on it all. Think what you think about that search. Well, at Michigan, it is a search firm that gathers intel, hands it over to a search committee, and then that committee is going to handle choosing the head coach with the AD being a part of it. And that process, I still think, is very much not in the beginning stages, but still in the fairly early stages, to where I don't know that there's a favorite. I don't know what the date is that we should expect finalization on that. I don't think it'll be this week. But at the same time, you got Kenny Dillingham out there. You got Jed Fish out there. Jeff Brom out there. I think those are names that are going to be considered. But it may very well be that those people couldn't care less about Kalen DeBoer making a statement or Kalen DeBoer saying anything at a press conference. They very well may require him to look them in the eye and say, no thanks. And if that's what they require, that's what will end up happening. It'll just affect the timeline if that's what they require.
Do you think Brian Kelly is a candidate or could be a candidate?
No, I haven't heard his name mentioned a single time. Let me put it that way. So if he is, it's a mystery to me.
And what about Drink? You think Drink will end up being a candidate?
Yeah, I think Eli Drinkwitz is a candidate. I think of all the candidates out there, I see a lot of people make the case for Dillingham. They seem less enthralled with Jed Fish, but there are people who make the case for Jed Fish. When Eli Drinkwitz's name gets mentioned, you get a little bit more resistance, and that's fine if you don't want a coach. It was kind of like Campbell initially at Penn State. There were some people who resisted it. That's cool. I want to know why. And I never get football-related reasons. It's like listening to people and who they're going to vote for politically. Oftentimes, the candidates' policies and stances are the last thing that people care about. It's about everything superficial that has no substance to it. And so with Drinkwitz, like Eli Drinkwitz is a really good football coach. Eli Drinkwitz knows how to develop. He knows how to hire. If you don't believe me, look at how many programs have had to resort to poaching his staff, and they never implode. But he's not coming off an 11-1 season or a 10-2 season. So he's not like the red hot candidate right now. So I don't know, he may not end up there, but I always laugh when his name's mentioned and on the message boards, it's absolutely not. Really, bud? Absolutely not. Your coach was Sharon Moore 20 minutes ago. Absolutely not. That's interesting.
Josh, I'll see you on Saturday, buddy.
All right, Dave. Appreciate it.
Man. Josh Pate there on the Bumpy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Appreciate his time. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Katy Lee talk little Aggie women's volleyball. Right now, the family-owned agencies dialed into TexAgs. The Rollo Insurance Group is doing amazing work helping these small agencies keep up with the slow-motion corporate takeover of the insurance industry. Tech markets, education, succession planning are big challenges. But if you go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, you can listen to Keith Lane's comments with Jackson Rollo right here in this studio not long ago. You can learn all about it because Rollo Insurance is doing big things, and Aggies are doing all kinds of great work to help out other Aggies. And remember, when you're looking for new insurance, let them be your provider. Many clients discover better protection and competitive rates simply by calling Rollo Insurance. The phone number, 888-44-ROLLO, 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs.
What's up, everybody? I'm here to tell you about Fratella Italian Cafe. If anyone knows anything about Italian food, it's me, Billy Lucci. And Fratella has the best Italian food in BCS. Located at 3901 South Texas Avenue, Fratella is known for their handmade pasta dishes and feature lasagna, beef cannelloni, chicken parmesan, chicken fettuccine alfredo, a couple of my favorites, just a big old bowl of plain old spaghetti and some manicotti. Really recommend the manicotti. That's my go-to. And don't walk out of there without trying the fresh, piping hot breadsticks and the homemade in-house cheesecake, which is incredible. It's great for dining in, catering, gift cards, and even shipping, which they do nationwide. Fratella's is Aggie owned and operated, and it's an official restaurant partner of Texas A&M Athletics. I'll see you there.
Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Time to talk a little Aggie women's basketball. They suffered a rough one this past week against West Virginia. Some vulnerability, some bad shooting in that game, but we're going to break it down. Katy Lee in studio, former A&M basketball player, hanging out, telling us all about it. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. So, for the most part, every time we've spoken, it's been positive, right? There was a little hiccup in Hawaii, just a little tiny one. There was a bigger hiccup this past weekend. What was
so actually, I'm translating it opposite.
Okay.
I'm translating opposite. I think the bigger hiccup was in Hawaii because that was a winnable game. That was a bad situation that happened that you go, hey, that's never going to happen again. Or that shouldn't happen again, right? Like that should have been in the win column. This one was not a bad loss. There's such a thing as a good loss. This would have been one of them. They were 26 in the net. They were supposed to come in here and win by all statistical accounts, right? But what we saw in the game was we saw a team still trying to figure out their identity. You saw a young lady in Nye Pryor who is truly the court general, and we're seeing when she gets in trouble early how that dynamic of the team changes and who has to step into that position. You have a true freshman right out of high school in Cheney that's coming in and trying to fill a young lady who's in the Nancy Lieberman top 20 watch list. That's a hard situation to be in. So it's a challenge no matter which way you throw it. But this one wasn't a bad loss, in my opinion. I think this was a growth loss. I look at it as you have to have some blemishes on your schedule to be prepared for conference. That's why you play some of these games that you play. You know, we're in the 40s in net, and they're in the 20s, right? Like, this was a really good pulse check game for Texas A&M.
Really good perspective too, because I agree with you, considering what the expectations were in both games,
absolutely.
right? With Nye, just you were talking at the break, just what makes her. You've compared her to Aquanisha so many times.
Oh my gosh!
Talk about her communication on the court.
We were joking because it's eerie, right? Like, I hear Nye and I'm like the side of like Aquanisha screaming at me like, get in the right position and do the right thing. And I hear that, you know, from 20 years back. But she's an All-American point guard, and Nye is showing so many similarities to Aquanisha. It's really remarkable how well their parallels line up, because Nye is a true point guard, which, as we mentioned earlier, like A&M has not had a true point guards in Joni's era here. We've had split point guards playing 1-2 position, who was really a shooting guard but had to play the point guard out of lack of depth. And so Nye coming in and truly being the person that can set the tone, that can get people in the right spot, that can get down your throat and say, this is what you should be doing, without you really taking offense to it, because she's earned that credibility. She's earned that trust. That's part of the kind of the dynamic that's been missing from Texas A&M women's basketball. And so her being able to be that constant for the team is a big deal. It's a big deal. And it's something that will help either propel them and get them moving in the right direction, or if she can't stay out of foul trouble in the first 12 minutes of the game, because that's the time frame.
Right.
It's the first quarter and the first 2 minutes of the second. If she can't stay out of trouble in that first 12 minutes, A&M goes down a rabbit hole and she has to sit. And so she's got to stay on the court.
You're mentioning about being a pure point guard. Has the women's game changed the way the men's game has, in that there aren't that many pure point guards anymore because they love the combo guard so much because of the scoring ability and not really thinking about setting everybody up?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the team profile, or really the coach profile too. You know, you have your teams that are like what I call your Midwest teams, right? Your Kansas State, Iowa States, your teams that are very methodical in how they go about their offensive sets. And then you have your teams that are really the dicey, they play a lot of motion, and you need those combo positions, right? So it's all about the coaching profile. And even when I was being recruited, probably the best place for me wasn't Texas A&M because of the style they played, right? I would have belonged better in a Midwest team that I could actually play the point guard in playing against zone, right? So it's really knowing what the player can do with the coaching staff that you're playing for. And Joni likes to play both. She likes to play she likes to play motion, and then she likes to have her good, like, solid offensive sets. So she and her system really needs a true point guard for those times where it has to be a slow down and methodical kind of set, whereas she still needs that person that can slice and dice and get to the basket, and that's where Nye comes into play. She can do both, and she's very good at doing both, because when she does get to the rim, she's either drawing a foul or she's able to collapse the defense and kick it out. So she does a little bit of both.
What challenges did West Virginia present that we might see in SEC play?
Their full court press defense. Steve Miller said it well on the call. He said, they're still pressing from last year. Yeah. Like, that's how intense their full court defense is. So, they guard you for 90 feet. They're up in your grill from 10 feet off the baseline. Like, that's where their defense is starting. And they're really you saw Fats that was having to bring the ball up. Well, she's a four, she plays a 4 position, right? But you're seeing a shorter 4 that's playing a dynamic combo, right? She's playing a guard against a full court press because, again, she has the trust and the confidence to bring the ball up the floor, but she's going to draw a slower defender, right? So anytime you can take some of that pressure off the point guard and get the ball back to her in the half court, that's a huge positive when you have a 4 player that can do that. You wouldn't want to do that necessarily with Lauren Ware, but Fats is a great option to do that. You're going to see that in Vanessa Seydoux. That'll be an option with her. So West Virginia's full court press defense one is smothering, and you're going to see a lot. And you're going to see, because we struggled with it,
you'll see it more.
You're going to see it more. Yeah. You're going to see that picked up in the first few games. I mean, when we play Oklahoma in our SEC opener, I mean, there's no doubt what we're going to see, because you saw that applied pressure and how we struggled with it. But again, it goes back to it's not a bad loss, because they're going to take that to the film room. And that'll be a point of emphasis over the next few weeks.
And the 3-point shooting was
terrible.
Yeah. Partially
what it
because of what happened there with the press. Is it just they're rushing shots? What do you think that was?
We have some 3-point shooters that are in a little bit of a slump. Lamaya is kind of struggling to find, in her career, she's shot over 30% in her career from the arc. So her not doing that right now is one of those things like that can be improved on. I don't worry about Lamaya. She is a strong player. She's heady. She is, again, a constant. You can always count on her to play both sides of the court and be almost that sixth man, but in the starting lineup, right? But once she is able to find her groove again, Jordan Webster, even Nye in some regard. You saw Fats knock down a few threes, but that was a little uncanny of her play. So you saw people doing things kind of in the opposite spectrum of what their skill set is.
Did they force 24 turnovers? Is that what I saw?
No, we had 24 turnovers, and they had 20. So, and that's uncharacteristic of both teams.
Yeah, but that's
and
they still
West Virginia is known for creating turnovers, so that's probably they force about 13 more turnovers than we averaged. So that is a huge detriment to Texas A&M. Is you've got to be able to keep the ball and not turn it over. We forced them to 20 turnovers though, which again is not common of West Virginia. So both teams did things really well. I think the first quarter A&M came out strong. First quarter was tied up, and again, Nye getting into foul trouble, and you see that kind of sinking sand. Yeah.
Yep. So how close is this team to being ready for SEC play?
Got
a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna need them. Yeah. The SEC is a really tough conference. It is one of those conferences that you don't step lightly into. We get a few really good teams right off the bat, and you're going to see. You had the number one recruit in the country in Chavez starting for Oklahoma. She just dropped I think 36 on someone the other day. She's from the Lubbock area, so I mean I've seen her play, and she's an incredible athlete. But she's a player that will really force Texas A&M's hand, because she's not a one-man show, but she is certainly leading that charge. So A&M, it's going to be really dependent the next few weeks to see how they start preparing for the different profiles of the SEC teams. You have your getaway game, which is the game right before Christmas, that people it's a hard game to play mentally, because you're so ready to have that mid-season break and go home and see your family, but you've got to take care of business. So they're going to spend a lot of time in the film room. I think the schedule is really challenging, because they had a 13-day break, and now they're having another, I think, what is it, 6 or 7? Yeah. And that's really hard to prepare for conference play. So from a scheduling perspective, I don't think that was the best. But again, they've had challenges with injuries in the past. Maybe it was done on purpose. I don't know. So we'll see. But they're going to have to certainly get some prepare in the film room.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate you as always. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Brandon Leone will join us, and we'll chit-chat a little bit about the game this weekend. Right now, when it comes to a real peace of mind, when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what sets them apart is the over 9 CFPs, the CPA, all on staff. They take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel great about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo
the Texas maroon and gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular shells that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors, designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, Dad, you look pretty good today. From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go straight to the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our friend Brandon Leone, who should be in studio for our post-game wrap, hopefully after a victory over Miami. Brandon, what's up, buddy?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Man, what you that voice was like Elvis. You sounded like deep and ready to roll, man.
That's funny. Yeah, I wish I sounded like Elvis. I'd probably be doing different things in life.
Hey, I know how you are in real life, right? You analyze, you research. So when you're breaking down this game and you're getting ready for it, what concerns you about Miami? What gives you, optimism for A&M?
Well, I think Coach Elko, listening to his press conference leading into Miami, I think he highlighted something that I was concerned about, and it's our success or lack thereof on first and second down. I think for us as a team, as we start to play these higher caliber teams like Texas, like Miami, like hopefully next week in Ohio State, we've got to get people behind the chains on defense because that's where we succeed. And so everyone talks about how great our third down defense is, but you've heard Elko talk about it all year. It's what we've been able to do on first and second down to get them behind the chains, to put us in a position to capitalize on the talent that we have, blitzing and our front and being able to bring pressure. And then on the flip side, on offense, when we become predictable, I think that's when we're easy to stop. And I think you become predictable by getting behind the chains. And so for me, I'm going to be watching first and second down all game, hoping that we are able to limit their ability to get the ball out quick, whether that's, interrupting Carson's first few reads, getting tackles for loss or at the line of scrimmage, and putting them in a position where they have to throw. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to, and hopefully we have a good game plan going into Saturday morning.
Let's think about it from a running back perspective. Le'Veon plays, Le'Veon doesn't play. I think about Le'Veon like, obviously you're significantly better when he's out there, right? But how much better can you be with a guy who hasn't played since week 6? So just kind of talk about the potential of having Le'Veon there in this offense and not having him.
Well, I think the potential of having him there, to me, I think he's easily top 2 or 3 backs in the SEC. He's proven that when he's healthy, when he's on the field, he can get the tough yards. He's got great vision. His ball security is amazing. He doesn't put the ball on the ground very often, if ever. And he's just an elite playmaker. He's got great vision. He knows how to run with patience to let the line set up the blocks. And so having him out there just creates more pressure on the defense because they know the caliber of back he is. That's not a slight at Ruben or Morrow or even EJ. It's just, I think Le'Veon is the most experienced, and I also think the most talented at this point in his journey as a running back. So having him out there, I think, opens up a lot more for our offense. I think it gives you a little bit more confidence in certain situations, depending on down and distance. Not having him out there is just what we've been doing, right? Since, was it Florida when he went down?
Yep.
And so I think the reality is we still have to go out there and execute just like we did every other game. And so, you wonder if he hasn't played since Florida, how long has he been able to be working out and training to where he can get his body back to be in game-ready shape to take multiple series in a row, multiple carries in a row, and be on the field consistently? I don't know where he's at. None of us know. Like, we'd all be guessing, and Elko says it every week. We're wait and see. We're wait and see. So there's just no telling where he's at. Hopefully, I know that coaching staff is wise, and so is the training staff. If he has been healthy and ramping up, I'm sure that they've been working him, getting his lungs back, getting his legs back underneath him. So if he's ready, I believe it will be better because they're not just going to throw him out there if like his first time to be able to play is Saturday at 11 a.m. He's ready. Let's just trot him out. I think they've been ramping up to it if he's ready.
How concerned are you with A&M's ability to stop the run?
Man, I'm not as concerned when we're at home. I don't know what it is about when we play at home. Obviously those first few games we gave up a few big plays, but if you can watch when we've been gashed on the run, and it's really just making the right fits. I do think that game week of Texas, I think we were exposed a little bit as far as maybe lack of discipline or maybe pressing too much, the pressure trying to go undefeated. Whatever happened that night in Austin, we gave these guys a couple weeks to prepare and some good film of like, hey, this is their weakness. And so to me, I think it all comes down to keeping them behind the chains, our linebackers and our safeties having discipline with their eyes, and then our D linemen, whatever they're being asked to do as far as a slant, whatever gap they're supposed to be in, like, keep your gap integrity, fill where you're supposed to fill, and don't try to do anything else. Because if everyone does their job, I think we've shown that we can stop the run pretty good.
Talking to Brandon Leone here on TexAgs Live. Miami's been really good at stopping mobile quarterbacks. One of the things that I don't know if worry is the right word, but one of the things I've paid attention to all season long is there have been a lot of moments where I think Marcel has been hesitant to run, right? He's waited a second or two longer than he probably should before he decides to go run. And I think early on, maybe that was by design because, A&M hadn't had a quarterback stay healthy for years, right? So now, like, you just rip the Band-Aid off and do what you got to do? Is that kind of like the thinking here?
Yeah, I think at this point, this is it. Like, there's no reason to leave anything on the field. This game could be your last game. If you win, the next game could be your last game. Like, we're in the playoffs. And so from a play calling standpoint, from a, player's perspective, like, leave everything out on the field. And I think sometimes you wonder, I don't know, this is me and you just talking football. Sometimes I wonder, even going back to Kellen Mond, if some of these guys that are on the cusp of should they be an NFL quarterback or not, like, get it in their mind subconsciously where I need to stay and throw. I need to show that I can beat teams with my arms. And it's like, man, the NFL has changed. Yes, show that you can throw, but take what the defense gives you. And if you can convert first downs and move the chains by running for 8 to 15 yards, do it and just get down. Obviously Marcel's not the biggest quarterback in the country, and every time he crosses the line of scrimmage in the SEC, you're like, oh, shoot. You don't want to see him just get smoked. But he seems to have done a pretty good job as he started doing it more throughout. Like, look at LSU, right? Like, look at Notre Dame, that last drive. The first down he converted on, running into our sideline. Like, he has the ability to completely change the game as a dual threat quarterback. And in my mind, if I'm him and if I'm the coaches, why would you hold him back from that right now? If he can run it upfield when those DNs get upfield and get too much pressure, go get it. Go get 6 yards. Go get 4 yards. Go get 9 yards. Don't take a sack and don't try to force a throw that's not there if you can run for a couple yards to get ahead of the chain.
Brandon, conversely, you got Carson Beck, who has had a really excellent second half of the season. I think since the loss to SMU, he's thrown for 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. But the thing that worries me about A&M opponent quarterbacks is their ability to scramble, right? We saw Taylor Green, Lenore Sellers, Arch Manning, like they're especially on 3rd and long. That's where, that Carson Beck doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. So do you think they have some creative blitz packages to catch a guy who is not, they're going to have creative blitz packages. We know that. But like, what do you think the key is there with a guy who's more of a pocket passer and not somebody who usually beats you with his legs?
I think you just got to stay disciplined, not fall asleep at the wheel, right? Like, understand, yeah, he's not as dynamic as some of these other guys as far as using his legs as a quarterback, but, teams can lull you to sleep. And if we just completely assume that he's not going to use his legs at all, I think it puts us in a position to get hit for a couple big plays. But, man, that's going back to LSU. This is why I was so confident heading into Baton Rouge, because a pocket passer that can't really run is the perfect setup for Mike Elko's defense. A lot of times when we play these talented dual threat dynamic quarterbacks, I get nervous because we leave the middle of the field open so often. We get upfield, get excited with our pass rush, and you leave opportunities for guys like Lenore Sellers and even freaking Arch Manning to gash you. And so I think you got to be cognizant of his ability to throw the ball really well, get there to him quick because he's getting the ball out faster. Like you said, he's had a really good second half of the season. But, I'm very confident that Elko is going to have a game plan for Carson Beck's type of play as a quarterback. I really do. I feel good about it. Now, the other thing is, can we stop them from getting these quick plays out to Tony and some of these dynamic skill playmakers that they have? That's the concern for me this week.
Yeah, you know what, though? And I'm obviously very concerned with Tony because he's that good of a player. But I feel like, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, A&M has done a really good job this year at limiting top wide receivers. Like in really the last couple of years, they've done a great job at that.
100%. I think Cam Coleman this year. Think of what's his name for Texas. I think he had like 1 catch going into the third quarter. Wingo, maybe. There's been a couple really talented receivers that they've done a great job with. And so, and I think you and I talked about this, I don't know, a month or two ago, but I think our secondary's ability to cover and Reek Chappelle being healthy this year has really, really helped us. And, having a veteran presence out there at the the nickel position. Willie, obviously, too, and then Dez. I think they've all had a great year, and they're going to be challenged on Saturday morning. But with the 12th man behind them, and as crazy as Kyle Field will be, I like their chances.
Brandon, appreciate it, buddy. We'll see you on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Beat the hell out of Miami. Let's go.
You got it. Brandon Leone there on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with a short final segment on the 9 o'clock hour, 10 o'clock. Jordan Pugh joining us. Jamie Morrison, volleyball at 10:35. Got to talk to them before they head out. Right now, we're talking about if your business or your organization is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, you need to check out the Association of Former Students. They're the #1 alumni association in the world, guys. That's a fact. I can write it down right now. The association brings Aggies of all ages together during their awesome events held throughout the year. We're talking about Aggie Rain Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, the gathering. They welcome tens of thousands of guests, and there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities to get your brand in front of those attendees. And they offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. And this includes title sponsorship naming, on-site presence, activation, recognition, and social media posts, and much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie Magazine and the Aggie News newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, choose a partner with the organization that's been supporting the Aggie Network for the last 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorship@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Great song. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, McKinley Polanski.
Hey, David, how are you?
I think I'm still doing well. How are you now?
I'm good.
Different than earlier or about the same?
I'm good. I was just reading the YouTube chat.
Okay.
It was good. I do want to shout out Kane's fan.
He's nice, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really respectful. He was telling people to like the
He's been listening for like 10 days now, or maybe
Yeah.
even longer. He's been good.
Yeah, he said he was gonna go to 1775 on Friday too. So I was
And I told him he can stop by studio either pregame or postgame. We can show him,
Yeah.
So typically my schedule for the game is it's kind of all over the place. I'm a huge partier, huge, like biggest
Huge.
partier of all time. But my pregame routine is I try to, I have to be on air 90 minutes before kickoff because I do a hit with
Right.
Richard on the tailgate show. So make sure you watch Richard's tailgate show. It's fantastic. And I'm going to try to find a guest or two. There's always Aggie football players that are in, on the field. So I try to grab somebody if I can, or, maybe Brooks Austin or Josh Pate,
Yeah.
whoever's walking by, I'll try to grab for the show. But I'm on air 90 minutes before. And it's interesting. Like I have friends who are like, hey, David, come by the tailgate. Let's go. Like I'm kind of working.
I'm working.
David, third quarter, come by and say hi. Like, dude, I'm in a press box, and like the journey to get out of the press box to go in, it's like a 22-minute journey.
Yeah.
Like I'm not watching the game like you guys. I'm like writing notes. You know how
Right.
nerdy I
Yes.
am.
Yeah.
You've seen it. Like I'm writing every
Yes.
play out.
Every
like,
play. Yeah.
My perception of that play. So, we got like 20 seconds left. Anything else?
I want to shout out volleyball in case you needed a reminder. There's over 300 Division I schools in the NCAA with women's volleyball, and the Fighting Texas Aggies are one of 4 still playing. The Aggies are Final Four bound and are headed to Kansas City, Missouri to face number 4 Pitt on Thursday, December 18th at 5:30 p.m. Good luck to them.
Great job, Polanski. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Keeping it real with Jordan Pugh next. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's keep it real. Jordan Pugh on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. This guy each week has gotten me ready for the game. Jordan, come on, man. How are we feeling about this one? Did I lose Jordan? Mr. Pugh. All right, give us a second. We'll try to figure out what's going on with Jordan. It might be something on our Zoom end. So, Polanski, what's the vibe on the text line?
Some of them are wondering why they haven't gotten an invite into the studio. One guy highlighted he was all-university champ in b-ball intramurals in 2014. So,
yeah, I think that's TP on there who says he's not active as much. So, invite taken away. I'm just kidding, because he did say a sympathy invite. I actually enjoy showing off the studio and meeting with folks.
Yeah.
So
it's really cool.
The only problem with it is timing it up, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm not against it. So put it this way. Do we got Jordan there? Not yet.
You hear me?
Yeah, hey, there he is. Hey,
there we go.
Hey, are you coming this weekend?
No, I am not. I can't make it this weekend. Now, Cotton Bowl, we work. Y'all are my neck of the woods.
Okay. All right. So, what's it called? How are you feeling about this game, considering the level of opponent in this first playoff matchup?
Well, I'm feeling good. Good. So look, sitting back and watching them, I think that we match up well. Just overall, from a just team standpoint, when you look at just position matchups, that kind of thing. Because when you get into the playoffs, it's all about matchups. Now, one of the things about Miami is this, man. Malachi Toney is that guy. I sat back and I watched a lot of the film this weekend. I watched the games previously. That's a dude, man. We have to stop him. I think Tyrese Chappelle is going to have to be on his P's and Q's this week because that's the guy, that's the engine that they run everything through. And then he can do multiple facets, man. He can line up in the backfield. He can get you in the slots. Man, they got him playing quarterback. He can throw the ball around a lot. He's the playmaker of the group. But also Carson Beck. He's intriguing. The more and more I watch him, the more and more I like him. I think that he's played well this year, but he plays well from a clean pocket. I think if you get him a clean pocket, he'll dice shit up. But he struggles a lot with interior pressure. So I think, man, a lot of the game plan that we'll have this week is a lot of interior pressure. You may look at some delay type blitzes up through the middle because he struggles with that. And when he starts turning the ball over, he turns them over in bunches. So I think that's going to be big for what we do. And then I think their O-line is very physical. I think it's going to be one hell of a matchup with our D-line versus their O-line. But overall, when I look at the totality of Miami, I don't think they've seen a skill set and weapons like we have on the outside all season long. You look, kind of a comp when they played Louisville. I thought Louisville was the best comp game that matches kind of what we do, right? You look at how they hurt them on the perimeter on the outside from the receiver position. You saw them get downhill in the vertical run game, which I think that's one of the things that we do well. And then when you look at Marcel and the +1 that we can add, kind of like what SMU did with their quarterback, I just think that we have too many weapons. We have too many threats from a matchup standpoint where we can beat them in multiple ways. I think the way that they can get us is through physical play, getting the perimeter on the run, and hitting explosive with Toney. If we can tap that, I think we win this handily. But it's going to be a physical game, man. I'm excited to watch it, but I think we have all the matchup advantages that we look for each and every week.
Talking to Jordan Pugh here on TexAgs Live. Jordan, I look at what Carson Beck does well is he throws a pretty pass, right?
Yes, he does.
And you talk about, muddying the waters for him. He is not a mobile quarterback, right? So where A&M has struggled has been on, and they've struggled on obviously giving up explosive plays. That we know. But on a 3rd and 8, Arch getting out of the pocket, turning that into a first down. I don't think that's going to be as apparent against a guy like Carson Beck, whose numbers, if you look at, are not somebody who does that often.
Yeah. I think, the biggest thing with him, he wants to get the ball out of his hands fast, right? He's one of the dink and dunk, then lull you to sleep, hit you over the top type of quarterback. But when you look at the mobile side of him, he's not going to threaten you from that standpoint. One of the things that he wants to do is he wants to operate from that pocket. That is his bread and butter. He'll move and he'll extend plays, and he does a good job of extending plays, allowing his guys to get open. On those type of scenarios, but overall, he wants to beat you from the pocket. I think that's where we live, though, right? I think that their O-line, the matchup there will be good, but I think interior, I think we have a big advantage with our players, with guys like Regis, the type of disguises that we show, the blitz packages that we put together. You saw a lot in that Louisville game. A lot of what our defense looks like, especially on second and long, third downs, Louisville did, and he struggled mightily with that. So I think, man, that's going to be a big time key with him, because I think we can keep him in the pocket. We can master that. But now, how do we create that internal pressure that speeds up that clock? He loves to operate off that rhythm. And if you can disrupt that rhythm with him, man, I think we have a big advantage moving forward.
Talking to Jordan Pugh here on TexAgs Live, how important is the run game on the A&M side? I mean, we always know it's important, but considering the Texas game was not their best run effort, considering you're hoping that you get Le'Veon Moss back, anything from him would be great. What do you think about the run game in this one?
It's huge. It's huge. So let's go and let's look at the comp. Let's look at the SMU game. You look at the SMU game, they did a great job, I thought, of adding a +1 with Keelan Russell, their running back. I think that the threat of Marcel and his feet opened up a lot. So if you go back and you watch the Notre Dame game with C.J. Carr, I thought that C.J. Carr did a good job of utilizing his feet. And we know that Marcel is 10 times better when it comes to that as far as operating with his feet. So I think adding that extra element of the run game, adding that +1 in the run game, it makes the defense more hesitant. Now, you get Le'Veon back, Ruben Owens, the stable of backs that we've had, and we get vertical in our run game, that will be huge. And I think we can do that. That's when I go back to the comp against Louisville. Louisville got downhill, vertical, running between the A-gaps all day long. And Miami did match up well in that. Anytime a team has tried to get perimeter on Miami, that's their advantage. So I think when it comes to what we do offensively, how we can get downhill in our vertical run game, plus the +1 with Marcel, that's a big advantage for us. And it keeps their two DNs from getting upfield, containing the rush, our run lanes, and allows us to take advantage of that internally.
What about Miami's inability to be – I mean, look, they run the ball well, but not great, right? But Texas didn't run the ball well, and they ran all over A&M. What about that part of the storyline?
Well, they got a freshman running back that started to grow on me later on throughout the year that I think is pretty good. I can't recall his name right now, but I think he started to show flashes. If I'm Miami, I'm looking at the Texas game, I'm looking at the UTSA game, possibly the Auburn game, and I'm looking at the perimeter runs, and I'm going to test us on the perimeter. I'm going to see if we have fixed those things yet, right? I just think you're going to see a lot of pin and pulls. You'll see a lot of counter type action from Miami, but we've got to show that we can that we can do our responsibility within the run game, fitting the gaps, forcing the ball back inside. And I think they're going to test us on that perimeter. I think they're going to utilize Tony within their run game too, as far as the jet sweeps, as far as a lot of orbit motions and getting him in space and getting him on the edge. And I think that's their game plan on how they want to beat us. So until we can shore that up, and we have to show that within that first quarter, because they're going to test that early on. We can do that. Now we dictate what they want to do offensively. We're dictating what they do. We're controlling the second and third down options, and we live in that area. So man, that's a big key this week defensively. How do we protect the edges, and then what does it look like on second and longs, third and longs?
Jordan, what about KC and Mario? And look, we know when they're at their best, how explosive they are and what a difference it makes. I think KC's been at his best all season long. Mario was a little banged up at the end of the year. He said yesterday in the presser that he feels 100%. How do you think that changes the game plan?
Yes, because the X factor is Marcel in his legs. Okay. When you have that +1, it forces a lot more man-to-man coverage on defense. When you look at the man-to-man coverage, I will take my odds with KC and Craver against anybody in the country. I think that we have the best set of receivers in the country. We can argue with Ohio State. I just think overall how explosive we are, how much of a threat that we possess on the outside is huge. But you're going to force a defense to make a choice. Do we soften the box in order to protect the explosives, or do we load the box in order to protect against the run game, but do we trust our DBs enough to win the one-on-ones? Based on what I've seen so far this year from Miami, they have been inconsistent in the pass game, but I look at the weapons that we have, I look at the type of players that we have, and I don't think that they can handle us one-on-one in any type of man situation. I think that's where we win. So with Craver being healthy, you already know what Casey can do, Bussy, Bethel Roman. I just think that we have too many guys who can make too many explosive plays, and I think that matchup specifically, they do not win that because I don't think they can handle us on the outside.
Is this, regardless of what happened Saturday, a successful season in your eyes?
Yes. You're talking about a team who's 11-1. Let's say worst case scenario, 11-2 in a playoff berth. Now, look, from a coaching standpoint, you let things go fall to the wayside as far as not getting to the SEC. I think if we get into the SEC title game, I think we can win that, right? But overall, yes, an 11-2 season, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm trying to win this game on Saturday. I have a championship to win. But man, just the growth from year one to year two, you saw a team that learned how to finish better this season, and the trajectory moving forward going into next year. Yes, you'd be a fool to not think this is a successful season.
I look, I am 1,000% on the same page as you. It's successful of whatever happens on Saturday, but I do think there are levels to it. Obi and I were going back and forth on this, that like a win Saturday, though, I think goes a long way into silencing critics about, your schedule, you're only here because of this, because of that. I think Saturday can go a long way. It's not going to convince everybody, but I think, and not that they're on trial, right? This is football. You figure it out on the field. But how much does a win Saturday maybe solidify that the program has changed or turned it around?
I don't think it solidifies anything outside of the people who rock with maroon and white. You got to look at it. It's like this. It's like criticism is the cost of praise. When you look at a team that's 11-1, there's a lot of praise going on, but you're looking at a team that hasn't been in these waters a lot. From a national standpoint, it's a team that, they picture us as an 8-4 team, an average football team. And so they're waiting and looking for any reason to not believe in what they've been seeing. And so when you look at that, man, and when you look at the trajectory and how much this, matters versus that, you're looking at a team who's 11-1. You're looking at a team who's in the playoff for the first time. You're looking at a team who improved from year one to in year two under Mike Elko. It doesn't matter what that outside noise says. The facts speak for themselves. The schedule is what it is, because nobody was saying that last year when Texas, for example, made it to the playoffs, because they played a weak schedule according to everybody on the outside, right? So it's the same thing. You win your games that are put in front of you. You handle business. And I'd rather have them talk about us from this standpoint of winning games, being successful versus another average football team. So I'll take this any day of the week.
I will too. I do think a win here sets up something that I don't like. I don't know if I'd pick A&M to beat Ohio State if A&M's able to beat Miami this week. I don't know if I'd pick them but I'm not picking against them either, right? I think that we become prisoners of the moment, right? And the prisoner of the moment right now is the Texas loss, right? Like it's still, unfortunately, although they have so much more body of work, Jordan, right? They got 12 data points all season long with one real blip. Some would argue, a couple blips at the end of the season. The South Carolina game was not their best look. Great second half, yada, yada, yada. But to me, I'm looking at the totality of the work this year, and I'm like, man, like if they are able to get back on track against Miami, I might be picking them against Ohio State at the Cotton Bowl. I might be. I mean, I'm not there yet, and I don't want to look too far ahead, but like I think that's what Saturday can do for at least the way we look at them.
I would pick them even before we play this game. Like, look, one of the things is this. We talk about Ohio State. Ohio State finally got they got tested for the first time all year and happened in the Big Ten Championship. And you saw what they looked like tested. Now, I think Indiana is a very good football team. I think as a team, they are a very, very good football team. From an individual matchup standpoint, I don't think that they have what we have. Okay, so they're two different things. It's one thing to play a very good football team. It's another thing to play a team that's very good plus explosive players on the outside, offense and defense. But from that standpoint, we can beat anyone in this tournament. Anyone in the playoffs we can beat because we have matchup problems for every single team, right? The biggest thing is how do we rebound? How do we focus? We have 12 data points. We have been tested in every avenue. We only failed one of the 12 data points, right? So from that body of work, my confidence is sky high based on everything that we've put on tape. Now, when you go into the Miami game, we're at home. You got the early kickoff again, adrenaline's pumping, this, that, and the other. How do you handle the rush? How do you handle the anticipation? How do you handle a spot, per se, that you've never really been in before? That's the question. It's not about ability. It's about, man, the focus. Can we continue to lay the groundwork, do what we have to do, but don't lose focus within that? Everything is about us moving forward because physically we can run, we can do anything we want to against anybody in the country. And that's been proven throughout the year. That's the biggest test now. Hey, man, we understand what the task is. We understand what we're trying to accomplish. Can we focus each and every week, each and every play? Each and every play has a life of its own. Can we handle that? And if we do that on our end, I think we'll have the outcome we want at the end of the day.
Does the A&M team that played Missouri, right? Because I did this with OB earlier. I'll just do it with you for a second. Like the team that we all know, the team that beat LSU can beat anybody, right?
Yep.
Let's go to the week after. Can the team that beat Missouri beat Miami this weekend? That level of A&M.
Yes. Yes. Look, if we look at the overall, if we're looking at the game plan of Miami, if I'm coaching at A&M and I put a game plan in front of all the players, this is what I tell them. I tell them you're playing a very physical bunch on the line of scrimmage on both O and D line. You're playing a team that can hit you with explosive, but you're playing a very inconsistent football team. Meaning when this team has gotten punched in the mouth, you've seen a team that is wavered, right? So Louisville did that to them. SMU fought back against them, right? And when you see that, you saw a lot of things happen in bunches, okay? So they can say the same thing about us if you're looking in that same mold. The question is, man, who strikes first and who can be consistent the most? Because the one thing that I've seen with Carson Beck, for example, is when everything is clicking on all cylinders, he is rolling. It's a rhythm that he has. The moment things start going downhill, it's like a domino effect, and it just keeps falling. So you see the inconsistencies in that play. They can say the same thing about us based off a few games, right? The question is who can take control of the momentum, the moment, and who can ride that wave consistently throughout the game. It's about focus with us. I think, man, just from matchup standpoints, once again, we win in a lot of the matchup areas, but now it's about the consistency of it. That's our biggest issue is can we stay consistent?
How does this game, all right, let's close out with this. How does this game play out? Like what is it going to be a tight game? Is it going to be one of these fourth quarter games that we've seen A&M grind out and find a way to win? Does A&M find a way to win significantly? Like, how does this game play out?
If you ask me right now, I think that it's going to be a tight game through three quarters. That's what I think. Because the one thing I will say about Carson is this: he's been in these moments before. He's been in the big games. He's seen this before. So this is not new to him. I think you're going to see a guy who's going to be poised. I think you're going to see a quarterback who understands the moment, understands how to make plays. Now, with that being said, I think playing at home, I think all the battles that we've gone through throughout the year, and I believe that losing to Texas like we did, having everything in front of us, that lights a fire in you. Sometimes losing is the best option because sometimes losing wakes you up. Sometimes it wakes up the sleeping giant. So I think this is going to be a tight contested game through three quarters. And I think all things considered, we continue to do what we do. Like we talked about the 12 data points. I think we pull away in the fourth quarter. I just think that we are more talented and we have more advantages on the edge and in the skill position, especially along the defensive line, our defensive line. I just think we have more advantages. So I think I can see us pulling away, but it's going to be tight. I mean, you got two good football teams, but I think we win overall.
Jordan, I'm glad you said that because that's basically what I've been saying. I've been saying I think it's going to be a close game where A&M's got them within, hands distance, arms distance, a jabs distance, right? And in the fourth quarter, if they are the A&M team that I'm used to seeing this year, the dam breaks. They run the ball and then it's like, whoa, this game's not close anymore. The Florida game, the Mississippi State game, there's a switch that happens. Either they get mentally and physically fatigued, the opposing team, and A&M's able to do what they do, or we saw what happened in the Texas game where you're playing catch up and then you're forcing things and not playing your brand of football, and then you put yourself behind the carrot. And when that happens, that's where turnovers happen.
This is the beauty of the playoffs. And the reason why I'm so high on us is because we have been battle tested in every form and fashion. We've been down at halftime. We've been up at halftime. We've been down by 10,000 points, come back and won. We've been up and lost. So we've been tested and we have been through the ringer. And so we've been in situations where you will face every type of situation that we've been in throughout the season. You'll face that in the playoffs, right? Everything is just magnified because if you lose this, there's no tomorrow. And so now it's that sense of urgency that you play with, understanding that there's no tomorrow. That's where everything comes back to how well can we focus and how consistent can we be in the execution part. Yes, we understand that we got to fit the perimeter runs. We get that. Yes, we understand we got to make explosive plays on the outside on offense. Our running game has to be on point. We can do all those things. but can we execute them on a consistent basis? This is where I just think it's going to be tight. It'll go down, and by the fourth quarter, I think we can pull away from it.
Jordan, I hope I see you here in a couple of weeks in Dallas, man. I hope to see you in Arlington.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I plan on seeing you there.
All right, bro. Jordan Pugh there on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Open segment followed by Jamie Morrison, Final Four bound coach, A&M volleyball team. Celebrate that a little bit more here on the program. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with that. Right now, we're talking about Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're a mobile IV hydration company. And we all know that, like, you need mineral. Like, a lot of us get run down, especially right now. Like, I've got some coworkers that haven't been feeling great. I've got family members that haven't been feeling great. You need the necessary vitamins and minerals. You're not getting that, you're not going to recover quickly. Those of you into fitness, grinding, doing yard work, I don't know why it's cold, but whatever grinds you, you got to make sure you get all the necessary vitamins and nutrients, and that's what they do there at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. As I mentioned, they're a mobile IV hydration company. They'll give you a quick boost of hydration, a dehydration preventative, and they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. You can book an appointment or inquire about their services by just calling or texting 979-217-1561. Say hi to Sheldon and Danny for me. It is Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Again, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables, 979-217-1561. It's interesting that I think we've got, I'd probably say it's 50-50. I might be wrong on this, where we have some audience that hate when we engage the trolls. Some hate it. Like, dude, don't even mention them. Like, it's not even worth wasting 15 seconds of airtime on that. They're just the scum of the earth. No reason to do that. And we have some that are like, dude, I love when you go after the trolls.
It's funny.
So I'm not going to go after Floyd. I mean, Floyd's not going to get a mention on this show. I mean, just because I'm going to type whatever I want. Like, why would I do that? I'm not going to give him the shine that he wants.
Right.
You know, and I'm not going to block him either.
Yeah.
I appreciate he's helping the algorithm and helping the NIL.
Yep.
You know,
true.
so I appreciate that. Yep. And he loves a bag of donuts. Anyway, continue.
Well, I want to read a comment in the YouTube chat from D.A. Powell. I think that's their username.
He pronounces it the Powell.
Powell?
You have to say the Powell.
The Powell.
Yeah, you got to say it with aggression.
The Powell.
No, the Powell.
The Powell
Yeah.
said, haters always find ways to hate. If we beat Miami, they say they were in the ACC and lost to inferior opponents, and beat Ohio State, they never played anyone. It's always hate to hate.
Look, does it even freaking matter? Like, I do a talk show, so I have to like talk on, I got to defend, I got to, make compelling arguments, I've got to present information. But at the end of the day, who cares what people think? Like a loser in Madison, Wisconsin, I don't know why I picked that place, but a loser in Madison, Wisconsin that I wouldn't spend any time with anyway, their opinion of my football team, who cares? Who cares what Pete Thamel thinks? He's a reporter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really matter. What matters is, and I forget who said it, I think it was John in Cyprus, what you do on the field.
Oh, yeah.
And for the most part, this team has played an excellent season.
I agree.
There have been flaws throughout, but we look at it because we want it so bad. The flaws are magnified. Trust me, there is a show, and I'm going to try to catch up with a couple of other ones. Trust me, there are talk shows in Miami right now. Now, I will say this about the Canes. I love Miami. You guys know that, like the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a TexAgs there. They just don't, right? They got some really good people. Enriquez does a good job. There's a bunch of guys that do a good job. But I guarantee you there's somebody out there that is saying, look, guys, this is what A&M does really well. We got to be careful with this. But this is where they make mistakes, and this is where we can get them, right? That's the nature of sports talk, is to present each side of it. But someone's opinion and their words about a program, like, even if it's other than, like, the playoff committee, who got it wrong, but whatever, it's over. You're in the playoffs. This is your 7th seed. You got Miami. It won't. If you lose, it's not going to be a good look. If you win, you're going to have to prove yourself again, right? And that's when you get to a certain level, and A&M is one of the 12 teams still in the conversation. When you get to a certain level, this is what comes with it. This is the territory. And when you don't get to it, you catch even more strays. So, but the strays seem like you feel like almost you have to defend yourself more.
Yeah.
Because when you're 7-5 and 8-4, you're like, well, I mean, I guess they were right all season long.
Yeah.
You can still say that if they lose, right? Or you can say, see, you didn't think we can go to Baton Rouge. You didn't think we could go to South Bend. You didn't think we could win a game in the playoff. You didn't think we could go to the Cotton Bowl. So there's that.
I agree. There's another comment in the YouTube chat. It says, the South Carolina game is why we are here. If we lost the game, I don't think we make it. The South Carolina game should tell us everything we need to know about this team.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Okay.
Good thing. They're hyping us up.
I'm just more of a believer in, are you able to establish your dominance, right? If you're able to do that, it doesn't matter who you play. And if you're not, and in that game, you had a comedy of errors. Look at the collection of the season. How different are you from the team that played early on? Can you be that team that you've been for 90% of the season? Then I think, look, but Miami's thinking to themselves, hey, we beat that same Notre Dame team you beat. We beat some other ranked teams. If you want to say those ranked teams weren't good,
that's true.
You get an opportunity to settle it, and you get the chance to do it on your field.
Yeah.
And it will feel like absolute donkey stuff if you don't take care of business right at your home field. This is what you fought for.
I agree.
I think it's important to note that the team as a whole has found ways to win in a lot of different scenarios, the South Carolina game being a prime example. But another thing to note is it's important like as much as the Texas loss sucked, it is also important to know why you lost and the things that you were doing wrong in the loss. It helps you become a better team if you can actually correct those mistakes in a I was gonna say in a correct way, but that just sounds dumb. But in a valid way, if you can correct those mistakes in a valid way, then it adds on to what you can do in the future.
Yeah, look, there's going to be an open dialogue no matter what. That's why we love this sport so darn much. But I believe in that coach. I believe in those players. I believe in the culture that they have. And hopefully that means that they win 4 straight games. If that means that their season ends on Saturday, I'll be very sad and I'll have a bitter taste in my mouth the way the season ended. But my goodness, where would you rather be? Losing to USC in the Las Vegas Bowl, going 8-4, 7-5, a coaching change, or like, hey, we got invited to the party. Let's build from this.
Yep.
And
Agreed.
hopefully they build from it this year. Not. Hopefully you don't have to wait. Right. Anyway, we'll hit a break. We'll come back. I believe Jamie Morrison. Yep, I see him there in the lobby. So we'll get to him here in a moment. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you are looking for a selection that won't break the bank, if you're looking for quality, if you're looking for a wide selection, you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. You can start your search online. You'll see what they have. You'll get a feel for all the vehicles that they have on the lot. And then when you go there, you're going to experience this incredible customer service. And when I say customer service, I'm talking about the entire process, the before, the during, the after. They take care of you in all 3 layers. They're a fantastic complimentary pickup and delivery for their service customers, free oil change for life, as long as you own that vehicle at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Remember, it's not a far drive. We're talking 15 minutes, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The entire country was watching on Sunday, right? My phone was going crazy. I can only imagine what Jamie Morrison's phone was doing after and during that game. Final Four bound, Jamie Morrison, head coach of the A&M volleyball team. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Do you remember what I texted you? You got 1,000 texts. I doubt you do. I'm going to remind you.
I feel bad right now.
Don't worry about it. It's basically what I just said there.
Oh.
Everybody in the world was watching you. You captured the world's attention.
Yeah, no, 100%. And they asked me about that afterwards, about that match being on ABC, and when I thought about it for our brand, I'm like, yeah, it's amazing, but like, if you take that a step wider, that was one of the most exciting volleyball matches I've ever been a part of, and to have that on national television, on linear, on ABC for the world to see. Hopefully, again, I know we had a lot of Aggies that I don't know that have listened to this show and not necessarily listened to the crazy guy that says he loves the sport, that it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's graceful, all those things, that accidentally tuned in. I'm like, oh, there's some Maroon on TV, and watched that game and probably fell in love with it. But I think that probably happened across the country. Just that it was, I don't know, suspenseful. It was dramatic. It was, I don't know, like the number one team in the country that everyone was talking about the whole season was in trouble, and then they started to come back, and then we squashed it. And I don't think you could ask for better television. But for me personally, it was just really fun to be a part of.
So I saw football minds that you would never think tweeted about it. I compared it on the show, and tell me if you see this, as Rocky 1 and 2 mixed, right? Because in Rocky 1, he doesn't get up at the end. He ends up losing the decision. But in Rocky 2, he gets up, and Apollo doesn't. And you all were, I thought, you look like the team that was ranked number 1 in the country with the 33-0.
And that's a piece of our identity and who we are. Like, we're going to act like that regardless of who's across the net. And like, I got sick and tired of hearing about how good Nebraska is, and I think they're really good. But it was almost like the match was an afterthought, that it was like, this thing is going to go. And I just said, if they're our team, like, they haven't played us yet.
Yeah.
They haven't played a team that doesn't back down. They haven't played a team that gets in their face. They haven't played a team that makes them uncomfortable. And just, I thought, with the exception, like, if I took that time out at 9-3 or something like that, after that, I don't think for any minute of that match, we didn't act like we belonged. We didn't act like ourselves. We didn't play like ourselves. Like, the entire time, it was just this essence of who we are out there on the floor, going toe to toe with a really, really good volleyball team that I respect, both as human beings and volleyball players. And the best team on that night won, and it was us. And it's a cool thing, and it's a testament to, again, like, if you can step out there and not necessarily worry about the lights, the crowd, and all these things, but just be yourself in its truest form, like, good things can happen.
Why even play the game, right? Like, it's just, what do you expect a coach to think when they're, hey, you're just lucky to be playing this, this dynamic team, and you're like, we're a dynamic team. We're trying to win the whole darn thing.
That's what I was trying to say. Like, and I caught some flack from the Nebraska media when I said I'm not scared of them. Like, we're a really good volleyball team. And I think people lost light of that when they were doing it. Even in the broadcast, they were asking me how we were out blocking them. I was like, because we're a really good blocking team. Mm-hmm. And we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to be a really good block and D team. We're going to continue to light it up on offense, and we're going to continue to get in people's faces and exert our will on the people that are on the other side of the net.
When you first came on this show, we actually have a soundbite. Maybe we can cue it up. You don't have that.
That'll be fun.
But we have a soundbite from this offseason. Yeah. We also, I just remember when you first got here, talking about, like, I want volleyball to capture people's attention, right? And I want this to be a volleyball community. It's here. You're doing exactly what you wanted, right? Yeah. Like, how like, just, you have so much more you're trying to do this year and many years. But just for a moment, like, everything that you thought was possible is happening. Yeah.
Same thing again in Nebraska, and I really did. Like, I don't know, respect what they have done. Like, they filled that thing up, and they, I don't know, sold it out for 7,500 matches, and they're going to expand it to 10,000 right now, and they'll probably sell that out. And it's really a model of what can be. But I think if they hadn't have, like, I don't know, upgraded the size of their arena, I think we would have out-averaged or out-attendance them next year. But it just, I've been trying to, like, stay present, and also, like, you got to think as a leader about the future of stuff and the long term. So it's been kind of bouncing back and forth a little bit. But man, yeah, what you said is right. I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my staff. I'm proud of my family. They've been a support system for me, that we've been able to create something that I think is going to sustain also. I think we're going to be back in Final Fours. I think, again, Reed Arena is going to be packed more and more and more as years go on. But I think the 12th men has fallen in love with, again, the game I love. And I get chills as I'm saying that, but, like, I'm going to talk at convention at some point about, like, the fact that we're at this inflection point for our sport where it's going to grow and grow and grow. If we do this right, it can be one of the most dominant sports in the United States.
How nice to talk to you after that fourth set and still win, right? Because I'm telling you, man, like I had people around me, like they were just glued to their phones, their televisions. As this happening, are you recognizing like we're in the middle of like a historic?
Oh, yeah.
You can tell.
Like it's like, again, I don't know if it's just perception from where I've been in the Olympics and things along those lines, but like in the middle of that, it was like 30-30. And one of my thoughts in my head was like, man, win or lose, this is going to be like made for TV, epic match. Like everyone is, if you're not entertained, like what's going to entertain you, right? Like thought literally went through my head. And then at 32-32, it was like, this is fun. It's two heavyweights, like you said, it's two heavyweights going after it and punch after punch after punch. And it wasn't like, there wasn't really bad plays that were made. It was just, they were making a good play. We were making a good play. They were making a good play. We were making a good play. And it was just, volleyball at its purest form. The crowd was amazing. At one point, I couldn't hear myself think. My ears are probably still ringing from it. But even when that happened, like it got so loud that these started to ring. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. So yeah, it was an awesome experience. It was fun to be a part of. Obviously, like I think win or lose, we would have had memories. But to come out of that with a win there against a team that's that good, like it's a testament again to how good we are. But I don't think it's something that anybody will forget. I don't think our players, I don't think their players, I don't think the fans that were in the stands, I don't think people that watched it on TV, I don't think casual sports fans that might have tuned in at 32-32, like everyone's going to have that in the back of their memory banks for a lifetime.
And I also think like it was funny when there was an error, there was 4 in a row, right? Yep. Like, and then they would go up 26-25, you'd come back, and then you would take a lead. They would like, it was just the whole thing was.
No.
But I think the thing I took away from it wasn't the 4th set. It was the beginning of the 5th set.
Yep.
Because in the beginning of the 5th set, that was such a draining match that like if you don't respond immediately, 100%. The momentum can go completely out the door.
Yeah. And we talked actually leading into this, just we talk a lot about managing hard. That everyone's going to go through hard, and it's not necessarily like avoiding it and going away from it. It's like, how do you manage that 2% better than them? We won that match by 2 points. And for me, it was this epic dogfight that we were in. And like for us, we probably had a little bit more hard because we won 5 the match before. Like I think they had some illness going around their team. But I said beforehand, as soon as we got done with the video, this is going to be about managing hard. And I thought in that moment, I think both teams were gassed. Like there was, I don't know, like some super epically long rallies in there. Like that, I don't know, 4th set was probably 30-something minutes. We got to the beginning of that 5th, and both teams were gassed, and we took a deep breath. And I said this as we left: take a deep breath, collect yourself right now, and be ready to go out and give all of who you are. And I thought we did that.
Well, the other thing you have to deal with, and this is a good problem to deal with, but there's a lot of logistics, short amount of time.
It's crazy.
A lot more interview requests. You've got to travel. You've got to set that up. So you're managing and balancing a lot of things right now.
Yeah, I got to give full credit to Caitlin Corbett, our director of operations right now. Like she deserves credit. I think she knows everybody in town, so you guys can all don't all text her right now. She's got enough text messages going on, but and then Christy Mejias, our SWA, has really stepped up and kind of helped with the logistics of kind of getting everything going. But just imagine, again, you're playing on Sunday night. We leave today at 5:00. You had to schedule a charter plane to go, I don't know, pick up 100 people. You got to get all those 100 people. You got to get meals planned. You have to do all these little pieces. And there's all of these moving parts that go along with the Final Four, with a bunch of media stuff, a bunch of banquets, a bunch of things along those lines, where we're having to put all of that together in the span of 24 hours.
So the schedule is you'll leave this afternoon and you have a practice tomorrow. Kind of take us through that.
So it'll be an open practice tomorrow. There's little things that are different, which is nice. Like there's a coaching convention that actually happens along with this. I was supposed to be talking, but AVCA, if you're listening, I won't be there. I haven't emailed you yet, but I apologize. But there's a coaching convention that goes along with it. So it's also an education opportunity for people to come out and watch the way that we run practice and do things along those lines. So we'll have that. They have what's called a media car wash, where they go through and do a bunch of social media headshots, things along those lines that we're going to have to go through. There's a welcome banquet. There's an All-American banquet. Fairly certain that we'll have some athletes that are recognized there. So you guys have something to report on later on in the week. And yeah, there's just a bunch of, I don't know, gifts that are given out and things to go do. And one of the things we're going to talk about as a team is just managing distractions. I reached out to some people that I'm really close with, and some people that, I don't know, I'm thankful for that were in the tournament that got eliminated. And I felt a little weird reaching out, and I even said that, but they got back to me immediately with, here's my advice. And just ways to manage all the noise that's going on around it. And then when you step out on the floor, and I think other people are going to be like, treat every match, it's a little bit different. There's some more noise. The arena's bigger. There's some differences that we're going to have to talk about and adjust to. So,
is it? Let's see how I want to phrase this, but is it important to enjoy this moment without allowing the distractions to be part of the moment? Like, because I mean, this is a once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
For the seniors.
That's literally my talk is going to be like, there's got to be a balance of this. The same way, I don't know, like I say in a match, like it can't just be like we have to win, we have to win, we have to win. Like there has to be a little bit of like enjoy this thing. Like you're in this moment right now. Like take a second to realize there's 7,500 people that care deeply about what's going on the court right now, and you're a piece of it, and you're going toe to toe, and vice versa. Like there's all these shiny objects that are going on out here. We should enjoy a little bit, but make sure we're really focusing on the things that matter over here. And that's our ability to go play the game we love.
I'm going to share with the audience something. The first time in Jamie's life that he's been compared to a 7-year-old girl. But I told him, I compared him to Annalise, my now 15-year-old daughter, or soon to be 15, about when she first started playing soccer, the smile on her face, no matter what the situation was. And she still has that smile. But Jamie has that smile through stressful moments, through like you love what you do.
I love competing.
But it's infectious, man. Like your players, your fans, people who don't even know you see it.
No, and I'm talking about my team about a piece of it today because I had a realization in the middle of that match too. But like I got done and Jen and I were sitting in the locker room and I gave her a giant hug and I just said, man, like it must be amazing to bring back the place that you went to school, the place that you care so deeply about to the place that it had been. And then again, we took it further. And I think we asked ESPN this. I don't know if anybody's ever done what we did in terms of RPI 100 to Final Four in 3 years. And that's just a testament to the hard work that's in there. But I was telling her in the locker room, just everyone should take at least 1 year off of coaching. Should be kicked out of it. Like you can't go do it because when you come back, you realize that like all of the grind that you do. And again, this job is really, really hard. All of the stuff that you do, all of the stuff you do mentally to get yourself ready, the scouting, all of this stuff is to put you in that moment so you can enjoy it. Like that's why we do what we do. Like we were talking before, that's why you do what you do. And at some point, it's got to be like, instead of getting stage fright, which I'm pretty sure you don't do anymore, you step up here and be like, man, I love what I get to do every single day. Even though there's a lot of people watching, don't get nervous. Even though there's a lot of people watching, even though like what you're doing matters, like take a minute to enjoy whatever it is that you do. And again, if it's a grind, if it's hard work, don't focus on that piece. Focus on the piece that like it's rewarding for. And that can't just be the wins and losses. Again, we lost that match. I probably would have been okay. Like my team gave me everything. And the thing I'm so fired up on, the reason I got emotional in that same gym last year was my team giving everything and we came up 2 points short. And to be able to go out there and be 2 points in advantage twice right now is rewarding. But man, like I really do enjoy every second that I get to step out there and compete.
I should have asked you this earlier. I only got a minute left. Tell me about Pitt.
They're good. It's going to be bad. Like it's not just like we are the most balanced team. Like they run a lot of their offense through their opposite. I was going to say it'd be a battle of opposites, but again, like the reason why we went and beat Nebraska and I said it was possible was just it takes balance to beat balance and it takes balance to win a national championship. And like right now, if I look at that, like we're one of the most balanced teams that's left. So it's a little bit about stopping her. Like she's had, I don't know, 40 points in some matches and things along those lines. So it's a little bit of that. And then they're well coached. Dan Fisher is like one of the people I'm closest with. And I spent some time out there. My wife was a volunteer assistant for him. And we kind of sat down and talked and really meshed our two styles a little bit. So it'd be a similar style of volleyball. And I think, again, the human piece of this that I like to talk about in the air, like we talked about this, all 4 coaches that were in the last quad that we were in are close friends of mine. And to knock people out of the tournament that you love, that you care for. And like, again, I coached half of the Nebraska team with USA. Like that's not the easiest thing in the world. And this is going to be one of those. So I got a lot of respect for the people across the net, but for those 2 hours, we're going to go grind. We're going to go battle.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
It's always good to see you.
Great seeing you. Jamie Morrison. We'll be back with the shortest segment of all time. It's next.
And we're back for the shortest segment of all time, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, McKinley Polanski at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Your parents are here.
Yes,
I
they
think
are.
that's awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave. I'll see you later.
No.
You can finish the segment. I'm kidding. What do you have for us, McKinley?
So, what a great interview by Jamie Morrison.
Yeah, wasn't he great?
So great. I want to highlight some record-breaking stats from the regional this past weekend. Afina Kozak-Paula had 12 blocks. Maddie Walk had 4 aces. Maddie Walk also had 63 assists, 9 team aces, 17 team blocks, and 17 team kills in a 5-set postseason match.
It was incredible.
Incredible.
And what I love about it is, like, I'm going to take a little credit here. I told some friends of mine back in that they went to the A&M volleyball camp, some kids, Ella Patlovich, good friends with my daughter, and I was like, they're going to be in the Final Four. And I was doing that based on some of the intel that Jamie had given us.
Mm-hmm.
And, I acted like I knew. It's because I believe in that man, just like I believe in Coach Elko.
Mm-hmm.
McKinley, we got to drop it there. Thank you very much. Good job. All right. Tomorrow on the program, Wednesday. What do we got on Wednesdays? You usually send the email. No, we got John Harris. Peter Burns. All that and more. We'll see you mañana.